Unfortunately, it's not that many.
Well, there's a new event thing today, Delicious Divination 23. Mm-hmm.
Good morning, guys. Yep, that's it.
Good morning. Good morning, Todd. Good morning, Mike.
Good morrow to you guys.
Yep. Well,
Yeah, that's okay. I have a
that's,
tendency to say good morning to everybody at any time of day, so no worries.
I always run like right around noon, and I'm always, whenever I go to pass people, I'm like, is good morning appropriate right now? Are other people gonna get offended if I say good morning and like they woke up at 5 and like they're 7 hours into their day? Maybe I should just say good afternoon since it's technically afternoon. I get a little crazy with it, but yeah. Right. Yeah, that's essentially true. Well, heck yeah, we don't have to stick with theme, of course, today, but we'll go wherever. I feel like we're sitting in a pretty crazy world right now. It's the thing is, it's like it's been pretty gnarly over these last really 2 years now, and it's just getting more fun as we go. Like it seems like the pressure just keeps getting applied. And yeah, I think the whole point is to make people choose, like to get people to make choices, like one way or another. And not choosing a course is a choice. So, yep, yep, right, yeah, no. And what's the point, Todd? Yep. Uh huh. Hmm. Right, right. I mean, and I think, people got to be having their bubbles pop, like their fantasy realities where they have all this trust in their government and their religion, and everything's gonna be okay. And like, how can you be sitting there at this point actually thinking, there's really anybody that knows what they're doing up there? Like, there's just not. And it feels like a war, and literally half of the side of the war doesn't know they're at war, and the other half is pretending to take care of and lead the people, and it's crazy, man. I don't know. I'm
Well,
going through
that's
it. Work
what I
right now.
think you start to see now with like all of these protests going on. Like people are starting to wake up from their paradigms, but
Mhm.
what what do you go into from there? I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what a lot of people are looking for right now. Like, where do we move on to from
Yeah.
here? Like, they're tired of all of this stuff happening. That to me is like so clear.
Yeah.
But what's next, right? Like, a lot of us like are well aware of what we would do in a situation that changes everything. But like, a whole lot of people are just out there like their bubble has just been burst. They've just been like red pilled or something like that.
That's where we are. And me and Amy were just talking about this yesterday. We've got just a local, like a public teacher, well-known figure in the area, and like, she's pretty much going to be losing her job right now if she doesn't get some kind of waiver approved. And we're getting people coming into this crowd that didn't know they were in it, essentially. Like, so it's kind of, they're looking around and realizing, what the fuck? Like, is this really the world we're in? Like, do I, I, and the funny thing is the people that are kind of being labeled as like, bad people making bad choices right now have been the inherently good people in society up until this point, right? They've been the compassionate people, and it's kind of odd because you can kind of see, the wheat and the chaff really getting separated right here. And
Yeah.
there's a big chunk. I think there's a 20 to 30% chunk that, they were never conspiracy theorists. They were never any of this or that, or really seeking truth or anything you could say. But now it's been forced on their plate where they've realized these other things they did care about, like putting things in my body, being told what to do medically, just take your pick, right? There's so many different barriers being breached everywhere that, I mean, there's a lot of offended and triggered people. So they've realized they don't have real friends anymore. Like they look around and all the support network that they thought was there, everything that they, thought they had is kind of, yeah. So like you said, Mike, like what do we do? Like people are organizing, discovering, like I think meeting new people, essentially just coming up with some plans because it's, I don't know, where's everything.
No, it's working. So
Well, on YouTube, it's yes, and I listened to one of our podcasts the other day, and your mic cuts out a lot on there, Todd. It's kind of, and like it misses the first part of sentences sometimes. I don't know if it's a mic thing or it's definitely. I hear you good over here on Discord, but
yeah,
it's like a YouTube thing. Yeah. Okay.
you should be
Yeah.
able to change the sensitivity in the settings
On YouTube, right?
on YouTube, both on YouTube and on Discord.
Discord, yeah. There's a push to talk on Discord or a talk, like it picks up talk. Okay. So I think the neat thing we have going on right now in the world is that Europe is much more. I think they're trying to, like, they're obviously not going to show on the media anywhere, 100,000 person marches, people coming together, and I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the States too, but I just feel like there's bigger movements in Europe, just with people banding and having to come together. And I think there's a big potential there for the States that's dangerous in the sense that when the States figure it out and they start
Yeah.
doing 100,000 million person things, like it's going to be, pretty neat from there on, like once we start getting involved too, because I feel like it's kind of just
If anything, you guys got much more like nationalist cohesion.
Test.
Mm-hmm.
Like you
Yeah.
guys are all for America. It's not you're for Biden or you're for this and that politician. You're for America. Like that nationalist pride is strong. So if shit goes
Yeah.
wrong,
We're supposed to represent essentially freedom of choice. Like that whole thing about freedom is the American dream is the ability to choose, like essentially make a choice. And
yeah, and over
that
here in Europe, you're painted as the dumbest people in the world.
Test.
right.
Test.
It really does. I mean, you've got a really neat mix of people and culture in the States, and I don't know. Like, it's just, I don't know if we see something coming up where state borders turn into like real borders where you can't just drive. Like, I don't know. It's like Europe, right? Pretty much you can just drive anywhere through the countries. And as a Europe,
Under current measures, it's sort of like a little different because
yeah, with all that crap. Yeah. Yeah.
it's basically similar to
I think I got it.
what it used to be before you got one big Europe. And it's
Right.
really like it's really like a give or take from what I gather. Like a lot of people are able to just drive through Europe, no problem whatsoever, and others get stopped at the border and turn around and
Test.
fuck off, go back home.
Yeah. That's neat. Yeah, I wonder if it's like a status thing or if you've paid your money here or there, like if they don't bug you or what it is. It's I guess essentially that's what it is here. I mean, to have a license, a car, and car insurance, and nowadays to even keep your car registered, like you can't, I mean, they connect everything. So if you have like a
Yeah,
parking ticket or a toll ticket anywhere, like you have to be 100% caught up to keep things active and registered. So
Test.
I mean, it's a small fortune to just run being a civilian nowadays. To have all your papers and shit up to date per se.
Test.
Now of course they're adding this extra paper everywhere that I mean, people smelled it. Like the fact that it's been this big for
yeah,
about
that's it.
going on 2 years, like come on, man. Like it's obviously all about this one thing over here, and everything else is literally just a ploy or a play to get you to take this thing over here. And it should ought to scare the people that have it in them too, because I mean, no, I don't, it's not about fear. I mean, really, I don't want people scared, but essentially, why would they still be talking about it? Like, why wouldn't we just move on? Why, if everything worked like it was supposed to, why are we seeing what we're seeing? Like it's really bad. Like, I don't know. And I think the people are really hope this is the triggering point because our kids are being suffocated.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, it's the attacks on the kids now. So essentially you've let it slip into their world. And we've got a neat topic today too. I mean, because this inherently video games, I feel like video games have really taken over the youth. Or screens, really, not just video games, but
screens for
like,
sure. Yeah,
yeah, like the Black Mirror, man. And it's I don't know, I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. So it's
yeah, that's
it's
similar. That's similar because I was sort of raised by TV myself. If I didn't have TV, I wouldn't be able to do the English I do today. That's all
right,
self-taught. Like nobody in school was able to teach me any of that stuff.
right. And I used to kind of bash the internet, but it's opened up so much, and it's gotten people all around the world so close, and it's making it so honest in a way. So I really like it, so there's a lot of things
If
I like.
you, yeah, if you have like that sense of perception of what is going on, but like children are like, in my opinion, being manipulated no end with all of that stuff.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it's
if you look at like for example, my nephew, he's nearing 2 years old and he's completely addicted to his mother's smartphone.
yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah,
I think I got my mic
yeah.
working. So if you're on the YouTube channel, please let me know if you can hear me.
You sound great on the on Discord here.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry about that. I think I got it fixed. Hey,
Woo, we're gonna get the heat. All right, that's good.
it's interesting you mentioned that too, because when I think of games, I think of like toys as well, and then you start thinking about like McDonald's, right? And what did they do to revolutionize marketing? Give kids toys in their
Give kids
garbage
toys.
food, right? So it's like they target the kids because that's the
Yeah.
potential, that's the future, and like that's disgusting. Like that's truly disgusting, and you're a terrible parent if you fall for that crap. You are. Like I don't know how else to say it. Sorry.
Oh man, I remember those days, man. Driving along the freeway and you see the golden arches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, it's time to get McDonald's.
you're just introducing them to something that's probably got the same potency as crack. I mean,
yeah.
Oh
it's
yeah.
Kids like
it's
go crazy for that stuff. Like I've seen kids
yeah.
throw temper tantrums just for that food, for the and the toys even. You know, it's like what the
Yeah,
heck? It's literally junk.
Look
and
at
you're almost
Delirious by Eddie Murphy. That's from what, 1984
yeah.
ish?
Yeah.
And even he is mentioning that back then, like how he is all sobbing and crying, how his mom makes him a big fat home burger and he's not getting any McDonald's.
Right. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
That's
it's
1984. We're like 2022 almost.
yeah. It's
it's
interesting.
becoming a constant joke. Like I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like if we're not at the triggering point right now, I hate to see what worse from here looks like. They're already gonna take my job. They're hurting our children, and it's the Book of Job playing out pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
They're trying to take my health, right? I mean, essentially, the temple that's built with no hands is the temple that's built with choices, and
right.
like you choose everything that goes in you. That's the whole argument as well behind what they're calling drug use. Of course they don't want to call TVs, McDonald's food, and all that stuff drugs or our culture a drug, but
No,
they
but
want
everybody will like freely admit that sugar is worse than cocaine.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like it's something super addicting.
There's a clip in the movie. It's called Kingsman. It's like a action movie. It's pretty good actually. I recommend it. It's pretty fun. It's called Kingsman. This is a sequel called The Golden Circle, and the villain basically she has a scene with one of the characters where she talks about sugar and she's like, it's 8 times more addictive than cocaine, and yet it's legal. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, if you go without sugar, first of all, if you have sugar constantly, like every day you drink like a soda or one of them energy drinks or whatever, when you stop, I guarantee you're probably going to have a headache for probably anywhere from 1 to 2 to 3 days, because it's very powerful. And same with caffeine. Like if you go without
Caffeine.
caffeine, man, like
Yeah.
if I do caffeine now because I don't have a lot, if I do a caffeine in the afternoon, I'll be up till 1 or 2 in the morning, and it's just very frustrating, honestly.
Yes, the same here.
That stuff's
Yeah.
powerful. You gotta be careful with those substances, and to say they're not addictive is just like that's crazy.
Alcohol is the same thing, right? I mean, can you name a worse drug?
Yeah, I can't. I mean, that's done a lot of destruction, man. Yep. Yep, day 2 back into my off into eternity with no alcohol here.
Hey, congrats, man.
Yeah, I had a fun little fall. I felt pretty good.
I yeah, I remember we were out. You had a few beers. I'm trying sober October, and
That sounds cool.
I told Mike
That's
about it a little bit, and so far it sucks. It's really boring.
I got no cigars in there too, so I don't know why we're doing Lent this time of year.
Why not?
I'm happily crumbling up this year's harvest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
All the homegrown stuff. Yeah,
Enjoy
I
it for
got
me.
I got a good season this year, despite the weather.
That's cool. I had a lot of purple on my plan. I'm pretty stoked. I'm gonna let it go for a little while more, but yeah, I mean, carrots aren't illegal, so I mean those are still out there.
Not yet.
Not yet. That's a great point there, Todd. I mean, you just never know what's coming down the pipe someday. Uh,
I watched a
uh,
video last year when like everything was kind of going on, and this guy is, supposedly he's a doctor or whatever. And he sits there and he's telling you all the stuff we want to hear, like the facial coverings don't work, blah 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 blah, right? And then
right.
he literally goes, and don't eat vegetables, they're the worst for you. And I'm just like, what? Like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Literally, like, I mean, I was just like, well, I guess a
Pretty
grain of
sure the
truth.
French buy on vegetables for millions of years. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy, man. It's just, people are, I don't know, grossly misinformed or something. I don't know.
Scary part is like how many real vegetables do you think we even have left? Like we're probably just dealing with
So few.
yeah, like carrots aren't orange and corn's not yellow and
That's
I
it,
don't
right?
know. They've sold us
Bananas. The seeds
all
in
this.
bananas are as big as the seeds in a watermelon originally.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's they've completely toyed with. They've designed everything not for health, but for the image,
Yeah.
for the palate. You know,
There's so many species of banana, but they focus on this one strain and they stuff it all together and they wonder why plants die out and get sick. Monocropping will never do any good for
yeah,
anybody.
handle anything from the environment, any kind of shift. I mean, it's gotta, and then it taxes all the soil in a certain way. It's just drawing. I mean, it's not balanced at all. I
No,
mean, it won't be sustained, and that's why it's going to have to fail. I mean, it's not going to fail because, it's going to fail because it's not eternal. Essentially, it's just not an eternal principle to monocrop. I
no,
mean,
you
that's,
can't.
I mean, it,
And it's so easy. Nope. Yeah, 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 yeah.
right. I know it. It's crazy too. It's just it comes down to knowledge. I mean, like, use what you got. Like, yeah, this won't grow here, but this will, man.
It used to be that like grass was a sign of wealth. If you
Grass,
had a
huh?
if you had a patch of if you had a patch of grass, that meant you had space. You had
Yeah,
more space because like you didn't have anything to grow anymore. You had
you
enough
had,
space so you could have a patch of grass.
yeah. Yeah, because they didn't have lawnmowers, so they probably had animals grazing it. And yeah, it's rare. Like grass is something that it disappears quick because the forest takes over, the thorns, the bushes. I mean, if you let an area go, the grass is essentially gonna get swallowed up.
Yeah,
And the grass is a symbolic of opening it all up all the way. It's like the finest little hairs that can grow. And it's neat because dogs go to eat it when they're sick to make themselves throw up, so we think and see. It's like some medicine, it feels like, and I don't know. I mean, I do like having wooded areas. I mean, those are really my obviously favorite areas, but it's nice having a patch of grass. I can see that being a sign of wealth in the past, though. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Especially like the big lawn systems, like because they'd have like lawn contest over there in Europe, like where
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
you'd like grow your tulips in a certain pattern to get it,
Yep.
have it pop. It would just really be how much intelligent design could you put into this botany project or this growing thing right here,
You think
and it's beautiful stuff.
you think about the game of life, like playing your game of life, and you have property and you have land though, like you're playing a great game if you're able to sustain or give yourself some food or provide some type of I mean, imagine all the time people spend on like very trivial things like TV, right? And then instead of
Yeah,
that, you
for
were growing
sure.
food and being like I know people that like they watch a ton of TV and like I don't have time to do things. It's like what? Like you get like do
It's so
Yeah.
that and
easy.
like, I don't know. It's weird.
It's so easy to grow stuff. You don't need to do a whole lot. I've been
Yeah,
doing it for years in my backyard. It
nice.
really doesn't take a whole lot of effort. You just need to maintain it a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit of maintenance, a little bit of prep work in the springtime there and late winter.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, really, you just got to hit your periods, and then it all does the work for you. I mean, essentially, a little bit of weeding in the beginning, catching those little ones in there, keeps you golden.
Yep.
yeah,
That's it. You just got to keep it. It's not like you've got a day job maintaining a small garden. You just need to
yeah.
let things grow.
But
Like,
imagine if it was
spend,
your day job. And then you get to eat
ah,
your food at the end of the day. You didn't have to go to the store and spend money and deal with all the craziness.
right?
You just pick some
You've got
food.
this certain trade for this over here.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
it seems a
I'll
Yeah.
take
little
it.
easier.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna end up there. I mean, it's kind of like the modern day book burning. I just hate the fact that we're putting all of our faith and stock into this digital system, and the plug. I feel like the plug can be pulled on it.
Yeah.
So and that's the only thing that scares me is like, hey, we're gonna call digital books cool. Everybody's got a Nook or some kind of like tablet they can electronically read books on, which I don't really like that kind of light on your eyes. I'd rather have analog paper.
Yeah.
And then secondly, like things can be edited online, things can be manipulated easily. Like a book is a book, man. I can
Book's the
tell
book.
went and scratched something out, or if you copy and pasted something in my book page, like I don't. I mean, essentially, it's in your hand. It can't disappear. It can't poof off into the nethers. And I don't know, man. It scares me that we're putting everything there, like all of our knowledge, all of our books. So really, some of the most valuable items in the future might be like a paper book or,
Paper
uh,
books.
you
Like
know,
physical media forms like CDs, records, all
I
of
feel
that
like
stuff.
a real game of Diablo where you're running around looking for items to like make yourself like in a better position.
Yeah. Leveling
But
up.
so that's with a lot of games. Like if you want to get to the subject, it's a lot of metaphors for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
really.
That's actually one of the most. That's kind of why I was really hoping we would talk about this because, for a long time, like, because I played World. I mean, I played a lot of games, but World of Warcraft a lot, and like, you know, the
Hmm.
things you see with how people play games, and then you look at real life, and you're like, wow, it's almost the same shit all the time,
Oh,
you know.
Yeah.
Um, and leveling up sucks. I don't like leveling up. you know, it's like
yeah.
I'm already at the high level. I've been there. I've been waiting for everyone else to catch up. And that's like exactly like World of Warcraft because when you get to the highest level, then you have to level up by getting gear, and it's stupid. Like it's really
Yeah.
ridiculous, and it's like,
Then you
um,
can finally play the in-game content if you can find 7 or 10 other people that have.
right. Yeah. And then it says, the games too, especially these days, they say a ton about the I don't say the average, but like you get in a group now. If they're not all your friends, they're strangers. So it's like you are in a group where you have to work together to some capacity, right, to achieve the goals. But
Yeah.
games like Overwatch or League of Legends is a great example. Man, you get people that they it's just they don't carry their weight. They don't know how to carry their weight. Then you get all types of players: the hyper aggressive, the passive aggressive, which is always the worst, and
Yeah.
everywhere in between. And it's like we're supposed to work together, and it's you don't get any guarantees with that. Um,
Yeah. I got that with World of Tanks.
yeah, any team game, you're gonna have that. Um,
Yeah. It's a whole bunch of people that are just like barely able to control the
right,
vehicle itself. Like,
Right.
and they're supposed to be your teammates. I'm like, yeah, you know.
Yeah, I find it frustrating when there should be an obvious, like, hey, like this is a 5-person dungeon or something, and we should all be, working towards this goal over here. I mean, it's pretty simple. You kill the boss at the end, you know.
Yeah, but that's your Dunning-Kruger effect.
Right.
You cannot understand how somebody can be possibly that stupid. And
No.
the same way around, that guy is like, how the hell does he do that? I could never. How does he play those games?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why my main game over the last 10 years is fighting games. So like Street Fighter, Guilty Gear. These are like one-on-one games, which is great because you can't blame anybody else for your losses. You can only blame yourself.
Yeah, it's you and you alone.
Yeah.
Point. Yeah.
I'm not a big gamer per se in the digital realm, but I did a lot of Warhammer.
Right.
That's the last real gaming system. I remember big Warhammer 40K parties or something, or just big old tables set up with mountains and shit. Oh man. Yeah, tell us what you know about. Take us back to tabletop, like dice rolling, and what do you see in all that, Mike, that we're missing right now? I mean, because there was a lot of neat little things about. I mean, first of all, you had to paint your own figurines. Like it brought art into it. Brought a lot of things into it. You could play things for keeps. You could. There's just always certain rules with the physical stuff that kind of made it interesting.
Yeah, what made it so cool for me is like you get to have your mind at work, right? You got this miniature, you're filling it in, you're coloring it up, and you get interested in the backstory of that miniature you're painting because you're painting it according to a certain schematic. One of these legions, and like,
That's
hey man, why do these guys have like big, gigantic Egyptian like stuff? What do you call the head crests on their gear? Like, oh, okay, they're sorcerers. That's interesting. You get interested in the whole at least for me, like working on that stuff really like puts me into that mood.
Gosh,
And I worked in what was equivalent to a Games Workshop.
Wow. That's cool. That's the maker,
You-
right? Of the
yeah.
Yeah, they have a bunch of official stores, but I worked in a store that was as big as, if not bigger than, a Games Workshop.
Wow.
That's pretty awesome.
Did you paint
I mean,
them yourself and stuff too?
Yeah, I used to have a lot of them, but all of that stuff got lost in a house raid.
What?
Not my house, but it was in a house raid.
Yeah, that stuff gets pretty pricey too. I mean, if I remember correctly, like just one little figurine could be like $20-$30, depending upon what you were getting, how detailed it was.
Yeah, corporate train of thought is really taking the fun out of that hobby.
Yeah,
Here we go.
yeah. Now, do
That's
they have
interesting.
the
Sorry?
digital capacity?
Do they?
I haven't heard of it in the digital realm.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of 40K games.
Is there?
What are they called? Dawn of War, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, they have an MMO, I think, too, or they did. I don't know if they still do.
Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of games related to the 40K universe. But for me, it always sort of stuck with the books, the game.
Yeah.
The whole lore is interesting. The whole story plays like 40,000 years in the future. In our future, it's our Milky Way, our galaxy. It's just 40,000 years ahead, and basically everything is going to shit.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We live in some sort of totalitarian religious government system all over the galaxy.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
And we're fighting all kinds of aliens and pretty much half of the Emperor's armies that have turned renegade.
Oh.
Oh, geez.
Hmm.
So it's like you got 25% of the forces essentially are the good guys, 25% are rebelling against the good guys, and you almost got another 50% of just these aliens coming in at you.
Yep.
So
Yeah, that's great.
it reminds me of StarCraft a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I would
there
say
is a faction.
StarCraft 2 were weird, like the Protons, the Zerg, humans, and then got the other one.
Well, you got a faction in 40k that is the Tyranids, and they sort of resemble the Zerg.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then you get the Terran, I think, are
They're the humans.
humans, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
the Space Marines. They're pretty much the Warhammer Space Marine guys.
Oh, they are.
Because
Yep.
Blizzard's so original that they just happen to always have everyone else's ideas in their games. But whatever.
Ah, well, you can like blame Games Workshop of that offense too. Like they try to copyright a lot of terminology that has been used in sci-fi since the dawn of sci-fi.
Right.
Right. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't.
like I said, corporate greed is taking a lot of fun out of it, but fortunately, there's rebellious people that have 3D printers and creative minds.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you remember Mage Knight at all?
It rings a bell.
So Mage Knight came out in the early O's or maybe the late '90s. It's hard. It's been a while, obviously. But it was pre-painted figures, and they had so they were already painted. They weren't anywhere as good as like a hand-painted Warhammer figure, but they were good enough to play the game like right out of the box. And they would have little dials that you could turn, which would be, I don't know if they were like hit points or something, I forget. Um, but similar game, I think in the way it plays, where you position on a board and there's different races. I think there was like orcs and there was like an undead race and stuff like that. As the first tournament, I almost won, and I was like a kid, and they quit because I was beating everybody, which was really weird because I didn't know how to handle that at the time. But my team was so good that I beat everybody there, and then they just stopped playing, and they're like, "Tournament's over," and I'm like, "What?" And I was too young to know. Yeah, I was too young to know what to do, and but it was a cool game. I enjoyed it.
Mage Knight?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I guess good ratings. 2011, it says.
What? No, I don't. The one we're looking at, yeah. If you typed in, it says Vlada Chavtail. That's not it. That's not the same game. It's Mage. Well, I don't know. Here we go. I
Mage
found
Knight,
one.
right?
Yeah, I found one. I think it's called Mage Knight Database. Well, I was looking them up
Do you
on
think-
eBay the other day, and they're worth a ton of money now, which is kind of crazy.
Yes, they are. That's just like the Illuminati cards I got. They're
Oh,
quite
yeah.
I got a decent deal on them, but I mean, just for one of the old packs of starter packs going for like $50, $100. It's silly.
Well, that's like with some Magic cards too, right?
Yeah. Magic card has $1,000 cards. Yep.
I've got 2 Sliver Queens up for sale, and they will net me, eventually, they will net me about 250 each
Wow.
euros.
I used to have 4 Grim Monoliths, which is one of the most powerful cards ever made for some reason. And I used to have 4. At 2 times in my life, I had 4 of them. Right now, they sell for like 360 each.
Oh,
I'm
That's
like,
right.
Whoops! Shouldn't have sold those.
these rarer cards back in packs.
370 euros here in Europe.
For a Grim Monolith.
Grim Monolith, yep.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, people probably have their kids' old Magic cards just sitting in my basement in cardboard boxes and shit, you know. could have some grim model. They could not even know and have like $1,000 in there.
Yeah, I mean,
I
if you
used
have,
to.
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I used to do baseball cards growing up, and I remember. I mean, looking through the Beckett and looking how much it was worth, and then I remember going to the card shops and frickin' saving up my money for like a rookie card and stuff of this person or that person, but they never really. I thought as a kid, like, man, these are going to be worth so much money someday because all the cards from like the 50s and 60s were worth a lot. Well, not all of them, but some of them. And I was like, this would be the best place to invest in money. It seems like Magic cards did better than baseball cards, though.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
really
for
is.
some reason, the whole market tanked a couple of years ago. I used to collect basketball cards, NBA, and that
Okay.
did the same. I was like, oh, this is a nice, solid investment for the future. Wah, 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 wah.
Oh, really? Did you get some nice like Jordan rookies or?
I got some really nice cards,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's all turned to nothing. Like the value was turned to shit.
I'd hold on. I mean, if you still got them, then just keep holding. That's,
Yep.
I mean, what they're doing with physical gold and silver. I mean, the longer we go along, it's the only thing in the whole entire world going down is all the physical things.
Yep.
I mean, books, sports cards, memorabilia,
Well,
gold,
not
silver.
Magic cards. They're actually more reliable than the stock market, just so you know.
Crazy.
Plus, you can
Yep,
actually
they are.
play it. You can go play the game if you want, so it's like a double win.
That's it, right? You got a whole bunch of cards that are valuable. You can still play the game. In my
Right.
case, the only cards that are valuable are those Sliver Queens. But
The giant.
I had like 4 of them. I'm like, I don't hardly ever use them anymore.
I gotta play. I gotta learn how to play Magic still.
I'll teach you.
It's
Don't
such a
worry.
fun game. Honestly, it's such a fun game.
Yeah, it's a
Because
cool
it's a
game. You
giant.
can, oh, go
Card
ahead.
trading game.
You can do one-on-one, or you can do like team games, or you can do battle royale. Like it's a really good game.
Yep.
Really cheap though, but there's some cheap cards, but it's okay. It's still fun. There's always counter
Now,
spells, so you can always stop
can you
anything
do
someone
old
does.
cards versus new cards? Like, can you have cards from 2018 playing against cards from the late 90s?
If
So,
you play casual, for sure.
Yeah.
Like the only Magic I play is with a buddy that like has thousands of cards because he plays like leagues and he's a teacher. He plays at school with students and other teachers. I have like a whole set of slivers and some random side cards that fit those decks, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But for me, like many years ago, I had way too many hobbies, and I had to like cut down on some of them. It was like, okay, I'll just like keep my slivers for Magic and keep
Yeah.
collecting those. But anything else is just sort of
Too much.
I'll borrow your decks and play with them because I know how the game works.
yeah, once you know how to play it, you can pretty much do whatever.
Yeah,
That's cool.
They have
So
like
you got
different.
explain the theme of the deck to me, and I'm golden.
Yeah, they have different formats too.
Yeah.
So because the alpha cards are tremendously powerful. So like even like the best cards that they make right now, um, like they have cards that's like 2 mana, take another turn, or like 0 mana, get 3 mana, which is like if you were to play that versus any of the new stuff, even the most powerful new stuff, it's like you just win in one turn. So at that rate, it wouldn't be fun. So they have different what do you call it, like standards or different like uh, different ways to play. So they have like the current, which is like the meta, like the current sets. You play that, and that's like limited to the last like whatever years worth of sets. And then they'll have like a longer range, which would be like maybe a few years worth of cards. So you get a wide range, and then they have like anything goes or like old school, or in which case you're playing against $10,000 decks or something like that, which might not be much fun because you might just lose in one turn.
Yeah, yeah, in infinite combos and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I remember playing against those decks, and still people hated my slivers.
Right. Yeah,
They have a
anyone can
fun.
win.
You familiar with those slivers
I
in
am,
Magic?
yes. Barry probably is not.
Yeah, no, what
It's basically a creature that shares its ability with all the other creatures that have that type. So if you build like a sliver deck, the one sliver says all slivers get +1/+1, and then the next sliver says all slivers have. You need to block this with 2 creatures,
They're kind of like
and
parasites.
that goes like every sliver transfers its ability to all the other slivers.
Yeah.
wow. That's like the whole, it's a big, you're fighting as one deck almost.
Yeah,
Like the whole,
it's basically Magic's hive mind.
Yeah, they're the Zerg, pretty much.
Yeah, they're the Zerg, the
yeah,
Tyranids.
see that. They gotta build off themselves, essentially. Like you gotta open it up and activate it to keep boosting and,
Yeah,
Basically, every time you play one, you get more abilities for your slivers, so you can just keep putting them out there, or they keep making them, or whatever. It's kind of like the squirrel deck I was telling you about a little bit, but I don't. The squirrels aren't quite as powerful.
well, squirrels can be nasty.
Oh yeah, yeah.
they can be.
I'm gonna build a
I've
squirrel
got
deck for Barry.
and that's so nice. That's so cool.
Yeah.
This is getting him so hard right now. He's dumb. Our freaks pretty much to the point bone dry, so we've been needing some pretty blood rains. We'll take it.
Hmm.
But the only neat part about this is firewood season is down near the creek essentially, and I should have cut the stuff down when I had dry creek beds. But now I'm gonna be cutting them and they're gonna be working with water, so it'll be fun. Okay. Yeah. What do you guys think about this winter, real quick? Do you think pretty cold winter? I kind of do. I'm seeing like a pretty stormy, like dark, chaotic, cold, no heat, just manipulation, like sick people, not fun.
Wow, that
Hoping there's
sounds terrible.
If, if if I have to go by the feeling in my body, we're going to have a very shitty winter.
I
I'm
mean,
cold.
yeah, this looks like a doozy coming in. I don't know.
I don't honestly. I don't know. I sort of agree in that it feels like it's going to be wet and cold. Um, but I don't. I don't know. The weather, it is what it is. I personally don't really care what it does. Because
I
it's
enjoy
going
it.
to do its thing, and we got to deal with it. And
So like the colder we get, or the more snow we get, or the more weather we get, like usually the happier I get.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's pretty much how that works. Everybody goes inside, and I go outside. I got the whole place to myself.
it's funny too. We talking about Diablo 2. So every pretty much around now, because especially during college, I would still play. Basically like the winter season or the late fall season would be I would sit down and like that would be when I would play Diablo 2 for like a couple months and just grind and whatever. So we are approaching that season, and we just had the what you got, I guess, yesterday, the Diablo 2 Resurrected, where they remade the
Yeah,
game in 3D or something. And
yeah.
huh?
And I realized my graphics card wasn't up to date enough to run it, so I ended up on Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. Check that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So I'll need to figure out a graphics card situation in order to, which I
Oh,
think are probably through the roof because
yeah, that's it.
I've been buying them.
Good luck finding a graphics card for a decent price. I
Yeah,
uh, I bought one like a year ago, before the prices went apeshit, and I spent like 180 euros, and like the upgraded model of that one was like 225. I don't really recall precisely, but I do know that that one is 480 euros new.
yeah,
wow.
yeah. It's nuts.
There's an
They're,
investment for you.
uh,
Oh. Jeez.
And that is in a store. Like, that's not even secondhand pricing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm just thinking of Newegg and looking at maybe building. Can you build a laptop on like through Newegg? You think?
Oh man, you're gonna spend so much money if you try to build a laptop, and I don't, I don't even think you can like really just build a laptop. I mean, I guess you could, but
Oh, yeah. See, I know I can build like a regular computer,
yeah,
but
that's
I
what I
don't
usually
have.
recommend. I mean, you can for $1,000 you can build a pretty solid computer these days that'll run pretty much everything. I mean, the biggest
Yeah,
expense is like besides the computer is really your monitor. But
yeah,
I don't
yeah. That
know.
graphic will get you.
I'm surprised that that game wouldn't be able to run on an older computer. But
Well,
I
that's
don't
what
know.
I was thinking since it was Diablo 2 Resurrected, and I can run D3 Reaper of Souls no problem with all the
Wow.
crazy graphics in there. With, I mean, there's some pretty intense graphics in there, and I don't think I have my settings turned down. This is a new egg built computer about 3 years ago,
Mm,
so
wow.
maybe, I don't know, maybe four. No, but yeah, 3, 4. Um, yeah, but it should be fine. Oh yeah, look at that thunder right there.
Oh, is it raining over there?
Yeah, there's like a waterfall.
Uh, nice. We're probably gonna get that. It's cloudy here.
Yeah, it's coming for you.
That's
I'm not gonna be able to run today, that's for sure.
dang. I
This would
like
be the.
running in the rain, man. It feels great. Unless
I
it's
usually
cold.
do.
Unless it's cold, it sucks.
This is the most rain I've seen here in a minute, though. I mean, this is serious.
Yeah, so my dad, he has a creek behind his property. He's got about I think 7 or 8 acres, and they uh, one of those hurricanes, the beginning of September, came through, and his creek flooded like about 4 feet high, almost breached their pool, um,
Wow.
and basically flooded his whole lower part of his property. Like I say, it was about probably about 4 feet of water, and he said that the previous neighbor of theirs, she passed away a good few years ago now, but she said the highest it had ever been was Agnes, which was in the 70s, and that was only like half of how much the flood was in September. And
Wow.
yeah, so like literally like triple the water. And I was like,
Wow.
I was like, well, and he's like, oh, well, that means we got another 50 years. And I was just like, well, what if it does it
No.
next year? Like, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just be like, oh, it's never gonna happen again. It's like it just happened. You know, it just happened to you. Like, and it
Yeah,
does.
yeah,
Uh,
you need to be
okay.
careful, like you said, because they could be. I feel like they're playing with something. Somebody's playing with some dials and knobs. I mean, because I was over in Eastern Kentucky, same thing happened, dude. There's this like 10 mile long, like I guess a creek, and it's pretty much essentially the only flat land in Eastern Kentucky is the where the road is, like where it goes up in between the hills. So all the people live at the base of the road. That's where the creek is. Then you've got this long 10-mile long valley of hills that are going slightly up. Anyways, this thing collected water, dude. And it ended up getting like filling up the whole entire creek bottom, like 50 to 70 feet up. And it was floating trailers down. The trailers it went over bridges and stuff. It was scraping like the trailer rooftops off as they went under the bridges, and I mean it wiped out this whole 7 mile section. It's where same place where Chris Stapleton, the country music singer, grew up. It's kind of neat.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but same thing. 1,000 years supposed to have been like 1,000 year event or whatever, but and then the people around there, well, we're good for another night. And I was like, I don't know, buddy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like It's so risky too because we value these material things in our spaces, but man, like as someone who's been vending, like I get a tent, take tables, I take my art and do my card readings out,
Mhm.
in the weather. Like man, I think I told you guys like the one we had that huge storm come through. It was like if I didn't hold my tent down, which had weights, and at one point was 5 feet in the air, and me pulling it down with all my might, um, like it would have blown away. I would have lost thousands of dollars worth of work. All my stuff would have been drenched and probably ruined. I mean, and that's
Yeah.
it. That's the game. Like, there's nothing like I could have done about that. That was just straight up. Like the weather's like, hey, I'm doing this. Deal with it. So
Reminds me of Fight Club when this apartment blows up and he's like, I want my hope chest and my corner table.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy. It makes you think too when you think about like the nomadic tribes. Like that probably makes more sense. Have less shit. Don't stay somewhere forever,
Yeah.
and be flexible. Be able to move. Be able to look at the weather on the plains and be like, oh, we probably should hunker down or whatever. I don't know.
I mean, if you look at current day Ulaanbaatar, the capital of Mongolia, like 2/3 of that city is still yurt.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's
Like you
crazy.
just zoom in on Google Earth and you could just count the circles.
Hmm.
You
What's it called again?
Ulaanbaatar, Ulaanbaatar.
Oh yeah, Mongolia. Yeah, they still have a lot of what are they?
Yeah, but that's the capital city, right? You zoom in on the
Oh
capital
yeah.
city, and most of it like is
Wow.
still yurts. Just that whole not the whole city, but most of the population is just able to pack things up and go.
Yeah.
know,
I want to get a year. I've wanted to for a while. They're actually not too bad in terms of price, but you have to account for a lot of other things. I mean, besides you would have to account for the weather, but you need to account for your waste and where you're positioned, where you're gonna position, all that stuff. So
yeah.
Yep.
A little vehicle with a little trailer towing, just you can a little setup, be pretty awesome. You could build yours. There's a lot of places that are so badass that if you just got a little four-wheel drive rig that can drive in somewhere, I mean, you can be camping on the ocean, you can be camping up in the mountains. And, um,
That's what they do nowadays in Mongolia. They park the whole yurt up their 4-wheel drive and they bugger off.
yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. That's like the modern day samurai Mongolian freaking raiding warriors almost in a way. It's like they're still got that in their blood to move around and travel and go from point to point. Which shit I do too, man. I have to run around. I enjoy it. I just like seeing things. I just like seeing the space move by, seeing the lands change from the east coast to the west coast, seeing it go from humid trees to dry desert. It's neat to see all the changes. You can feel it in your body big time, like just the magnetic change. It's really enjoyable. I don't know. I really like it out west, but I feel like I wouldn't grow much. I'd just be really happy. I feel like back east, it's really challenging. Like it's very egoic. Like you're battling your own sense of self ego, and you're constantly working on it. Where if I was out west, I'd just be very at peace. I wouldn't feel very much opposition or challenge inside of me. I don't know. Weird.
I can see that. Isn't that the interesting aspect of playing games in general? Is like we want to solve some puzzles or like just experiment. That's why I like fighting games because fighting games is a 1v1 uh, puzzle jazz slash poker chess at the same time. So you're always trying to figure out the other player, and they're also trying to figure you out, and then you have to do your execution, which is like playing an instrument, and knowing the notes and how to play them, and this is all happening in less than a minute.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I mean, Magic's like that too, for sure. Definitely. You gotta be able to recognize the value of your cards and how to play your deck. And that game offers a lot more creativity in how you build your deck. Like, you can have a sliver deck, you could have a squirrel deck, you could have a deck that's like an infinite combo, but you have to have each part to play it and the knowledge how to play it, or sort of.
That's it comes down to your set of possibilities is only as weak as the mind that's behind the cards.
Yep.
That's why I preferred those games over the PC games. They allow like a certain element of your own fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be like with Magic, the combinations are endless. You can throw any amount of cards together in a deck, and it could work.
Yeah.
Have they tried?
I mean, it's not guaranteed, but it could work.
So sometimes so one of the strategies, one of my favorites, is an old strategy. It's called a mill deck, and the objective of a mill deck is to destroy the person's library of cards. So everything's like, put target card or whatever cards in the opponent's graveyard. So you get 60 cards, and now they have crazy mill cards. It's really, really nuts. But now they also don't cap, or some of the formats don't cap how many cards. So if I have a mill deck and a guy shows up with 200 cards in his deck, I literally, it's just like, I might as well concede, because it's gonna probably not work. I'm gonna probably lose. It's super bizarre, but hey, people do it.
I mean, our deck's supposed to be
back. I set myself to that challenge. Built a mill deck for under $25, and then be very annoying. I played all my friends once, and they didn't want to play it anymore.
Yeah, it's a hard.
That's funny.
The cards now for it are just insane. Like, they have 1-drops that just start destroying your deck. But hey, if you're one of those guys that plays 200 cards in your deck, you're fine. Yeah.
Is that a lot?
Yeah, you want 60.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, we usually stick to the 60 card format, unless it's Commander, in which case it's 100 cards, and none can be the same.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really cool. What is that, playing method?
Yeah, one of the formats. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never played that one, mostly because I mostly just try to stick to like standard for the most part. But I've looked into it, and I think I did it once on Magic Arena, the online version, and it was pretty fun. Like, it definitely gives you a wide variety as opposed to the optimization of like a standard deck or whatever. Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I like about those games in particular, having that freedom of creativity.
Yeah.
Whereas with a lot of like PC games, you're sort of following the story, unless it's like you say, like a one-on-one fighting game or a 15-15 MMO, like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you're following a set story, right?
Essentially, yeah.
I don't like those games, I'll be honest with you. I used to play, the only time I ever played I've played a couple story games or whatever, where you're just versus the computer. And I remember one, it was PlayStation or something, and this is a long time ago, but it was called like Legend of Dragoon or something, and it was like 4 discs, and I like got into it, right? So I played it, and it was like a week of playing this game because it's so freaking long, and I beat it, and I was like, now what? Like, that's it? Like, because like it's just like this sucks. Like, I didn't feel any achievement. It's just beating the computer, beating a pre-made story, and just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm the same way. You want that other human interaction. That's
Yeah.
something to online games. You know, you're facing another actual being out there, even if
Right.
it's a character on a keyboard.
Yeah, that to me is more interesting too. Getting some actual interaction. I played Eve Online
Mm.
But
for like
even
4 years. That's if you want a game that is a metaphor for life. If you don't have a life, like you don't have a job, you don't have a girlfriend, you got food delivered to the door, you can play Eve.
Nice.
that's fine.
So, explain Eve a little bit if you would, so people that have never tried it.
Eve is like the ultimate sandbox. What you get is like you get a universe full of planets and space stations and people playing in those what is it in that universe.
Right.
And you can go all places. Like I think about 80% of the game is pretty much lawless.
Perfect.
So you can build up your organization and you can set your boundaries. And you can defend your territory. You can fight epic spaceship battles. You can think of it like literally think of it, and you can do it in Eve Online.
Yeah.
That is like pretty
Is
much
there
the best explanation.
there needs to be there's going to be a limit.
What
It's
was
a player driven economy too.
right? And it's basically space. You're in space and building your ship. I only played it like for 5 minutes because my computer couldn't run it, but I was surprised. The
Now,
only story I know from this game is apparently at one point there was a group of people that was super powerful. Like they had like I don't know, they had like the biggest ships or whatever. They had the biggest army or something. I don't remember how it worked exactly. But a group of like 4chan people or something like that was like we're gonna destroy these people. So what they did was I don't know if at the
Yeah,
time you could do this, but
Goonswarm.
like they would just make like level ones or whatever low level characters, and they just all mobbed and like would kept making new accounts and just ended up destroying this big huge fleet with nothing but like the smallest ones, literally just swarming them and trolling the shit out of them.
That happened. But there's so much more that happened in Eve Online that had like literal real life consequences.
Wow.
Like there's the big I think the biggest corporation still is the Goon Swarm,
Yeah,
and
sounds like them.
they had literal they were working with a bunch of Russians at that point,
Wow.
and the Russian guy was like, yeah, but where does this guy live? Their opponent. Well, it was such and such station in that planet. No, 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 no. Where does he live?
Oh God.
What do you mean? I'm going to make sure that that guy has no power when we're playing a war.
Wow. Holy shit, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Wow. I
Oh,
love.
you could probably look that up. I'll see if I can find an article on that. Link it in the
I did put Eve
given up
Online
in text.
Goonswarm. Their logo is a bee with a cigar and like a helmet with a spike on the top.
Yeah, that's it.
That's so crazy. I
so
love.
which
Go ahead, Barry.
are there any games tied to the Decentraland loot mana stuff?
Sorry.
No, I don't
You
think
know, is that tied to a game anywhere?
Decentraland.
Yeah.
It is a game. So
Oh, that.
Decentraland is like a. It's basically it's a lot like Second Life in that you can kind of buy space and then you can buy items in there, and the mana is then the blockchain currency that system uses. So like you can go in there and then when you for instance have space or whatever, like you can literally build whatever you want in that space. I think it's sort of based on JavaScript, but don't quote me on that. And yeah, I mean it's The property on Decentraland too is selling for like millions of dollars. It's really nuts. I wish I had got some back in the day, and it's still evolving. Right now, the big thing on Decentraland is pretty much art galleries and the NFT scene. So you can literally go on there and just like look at art galleries, or you can just wander around. That's what I usually do, and I'll look at the art. And but if you
People
have
are using
Mhm.
a really digital art essentially on blockchain.
Yeah, that's the big thing. There's tons of art galleries on there, which is cool. I've made a bunch of videos about it and just checking them out. And but if you own space, you can do anything with it. You could build a game in there. There's people that have totally interactive spaces, and they can then stream, like run a video through that. So like when you go into that space, you're going to be able to see the like the video play because you entered the space, or it's really wild.
We could put delicious divination in there.
Dude, I thought about that. That would be so sick.
That'd be fun, man. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah.
So is that a similar thing to Eve, where somebody could create a bunch of peons in this game and take down like $1 million properties?
Yep.
Probably, but it would
Yeah.
be pretty low class. I mean, that's like.
No, it's high. It goes high class, man. That's what I was looking up right now.
I bet it's gonna.
Uh,
I mean, if there's that much real money going on in a game, like it's gonna attract payoff.
I shared it in the divinatory delineation text. The 6 amazing moments in EVE Online.
Oh, nice. A conspiracy theorist. That's a great card. I have those. I got those because you sent it to me.
Oh, the card, yeah. That was so funny. My buddy came with that.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
have some
found
of them.
the perfect magic card for you. What do you mean? You got another sliver? No. Check this out.
Oh man, yeah. I got those just for the novelty, but it's actually a really good card, especially for red. So let's see, we got 6, the Bloodbath of BR5RB. Yeah,
Huh.
wow, 7,500 people did this. That's insane.
Yep.
$15,000, $300,000. Oh my god. Yeah, that's like literally living virtual reality for sure.
That's a lot of people that had to come together.
It's absolutely nuts.
Stolen assets. So back in the day, like really old school, I used to play a game. This is like one of my first online games, and it's called a MUD. Or it was based on a MUD. So MUDs were multi-user dungeons, which were they're text-based mostly. Some of them had graphics, if I remember correctly, but these were text-based games, and I learned a ton from this one particularly because it was really funny. They had a lot of Monty Python jokes built into the game, but everything would be text-based. So like when you sign in or whatever, it would be like, welcome to the game, and like you're standing in a I don't know, you're standing in a whatever, a room, and like to the south is this, to the east is this, and then you would have to type in which direction you want to go. um,
Uh,
and the first thing I learned, which was really funny, was so back then they would exploit the game, and they didn't have a cap on, or what would be like a cooldown on an ability. So one dude just made a macro and just like level. He was named Trickster, and he became a thief class, and they would have the dodge ability. So he just made a macro to basically level up his dodge ability, and basically became unhittable. Like literally, he would just walk into a room and like he could just rob you, and if you tried to hit him, you would never hit him, and he could just literally walk out of the room. He became super overpowered. Um, and forced the developers to change the way that ability works. But like you could do anything in that game too. You could kill someone, take their castle. You could store your shit in your castle. You could put a lock on your stuff. but someone could be a thief and then just go into your castle, poison you and kill you, and then steal your shit. That game was so crazy. They had sex changes. They had, you could have sex. It was so crazy. Such a weird time. Um, it's called Stick Mud too. If you ever try, they still exist. It's a 20-plus-year-old game and they still play. So pretty wild.
I used to play a text-based game called Torn City, and it was similar. Like, you would find graphics with words on, almost like what the new. There's this new coin called Adventure Gold, and it's run by Loot. And the whole idea behind this blockchain is that it's graphics with stats and descriptions on a digital ID block, and whoever buys these NFTs can then essentially have the rights to this graphic and these set of 4 words on a page, and they get to give it color. So that's what you're paying for, is the ability to give it color. And like it said, games and things can be created off of these, this blockchain or this NFT essentially, or these could be real items in games. Like, so essentially artists could be designers. You could have the rights to these items that appear digitally. Like, and the blockchain behind this could be used for games or, other shit, I guess. But kind of neat, interesting. I don't know where I was going about.
It's all good.
I don't know. Like, the inherent thing that scares me is that none of this shit I can like hold in my hand, but at the same time we're all mind, light, energy, so like what am I even really holding in my hand anyways? When I think I'm holding something analogically in my hand, that's probably just some kind of false mental reality that I'm participating in. But something inherently special to that reality, it feels like. Something original. And I just love wonder. Like, the bigger the better. Like, I want to hear, like, I want my chest to shake. Like.
Right. I always harass the storms if they're not good enough. I'm like, that's all you got? You rain for 20 minutes and 2 thunders? Get out of here.
Get out of here.
I mean, when I was in Iraq with all the shock and awe chaos crap back in 2004, and they'd call them bunker busters, and we'd be on the base, and you would, like, your whatever clothes you were wearing, they would blow, like, magnetically in the wind when these things would go off. Like, you'd be in a building, eating some food, and there'd be, and then all of a sudden, your clothes, like, everything just moved a little, and everybody's clothes would blow. Like, it was fucking weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I love like, now if it doesn't touch those kind of rounds, I'm like, it's not even thunder. I'm gonna go for a run.
It says they're 19 feet long. Holy heck.
19 feet?
That's what it says. A bunker buster. Yeah, 19 feet 2 inches.
Those things are monsters, dude. They penetrate off and they wait till explode till they pierce the roof, so they explode inside.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's
and when we walked,
games.
and you know what they did? They blew up a lot of ziggurats, like a lot of the old temples of Abraham, like a lot of the old, cultural centers and shit like that. A lot of the last evidence on Earth of some of these areas, they just fucking blew them up. They essentially finished off what we missed the first time around in the early Gulf War. And it's like we're going through one area after another, just destroying, culture and symbolism. So there's no evidence of anything out there anymore.
Right.
Fucking weird.
That's like a whole game in itself, and you have to wonder. I mean, like we know who the players are. I mean, we know who some of the players are, right? Obviously, the
Yeah,
real players are definitely behind the screen somewhere, right? But,
like the Wizard of Oz.
yep. Yep.
I mean, if you look at Pixel and you look at P, like PI, life, and the circle, I mean, it's all something to do with an image, with an eye, with the circle, with perfection, and maybe perfection is illusion. Maybe, maybe that whole concept is illusory in itself. There's always law, F law. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
I think it's interesting. I've been thinking about the letter P itself lately. It's interesting because it's like power, right? And that letter super powerful. And so let me explain how I kind of started thinking about this. Recently, I've had synchronicities involving Leonardo da Vinci, and I found a great book. It's a translations and like uh, scans of his sketchbook. So it's not like masterpieces and whatnot. So it's notes and this is the 1400s, 1450, I think, around. So it's very fascinating to read the stuff, and he's talking about Steiner type stuff where like the geometry of the human, and the point, right? And one of the things he talks about is he draws a letter T, and the geometry of this T essentially builds out the alpha symbol, the omega symbol, and the T symbol, which would my guess would be the theta symbol. And so I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. And in that, it also creates the what do they call it, the chi rho, right? The P with the cross. And I was like, well, that's interesting because that gives you the P, which well, I don't really go into the language of the P. Let's just talk about the P though. But the P, to me, that's like power. I mean, think of all the words that when you use P in itself, it's power, porn, I don't know, pussy, right? These words are like immensely powerful, and it's really
Yeah, they
because
are.
they start with that P. Well,
Politics.
yeah, exactly. So that symbol, that phi rho, the chi rho, whatever they want to call it, that P symbol, because they call it the chi rho, right, or the chi ra. Well, chi in Chinese is power, like that's that energy, and it's the same as the qi gong in Chinese, or I'm sorry, in Japanese. Ki is the same thing, energy, power. Like in Dragon Ball Z, that's what they do. They channel their ki. Um, so that's been like a thing that I've like it seems to me like he's basically telling you like we create this power or something like that, or it's inherent in the geometry. Play is a good one, and you think about how we use that word, right? Because the P starts off those words, and it just shows, right? Power itself, power, push, pull, like all these are
P.
like yeah, P. P itself. I live in apartment P, so I live in a powerful apartment.
I'm peeing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw something recently because P is obviously for Peter, and then I saw Peter is equivalent to faith, and then which is neat that if the story of Christ, if the church is built upon Peter, and if Peter equals faith, and if Peter is the rock, I mean, that might be your power, right? Having that faith in something, in yourself, because essentially it's all the placebo. You've got to believe in it, right? So you've got to, whatever you're going to do, whatever you're going to manifest, the miracle is hidden in the belief part. So that having faith part right there is essentially what we're toying with to, I think get the miracles to get in any act of God something from nothing to occur.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, it could be like like a lot of the studies they do, of course, they have a placebo pill, and people don't know if they're taking this medicine or if they're not, and essentially they're put through the same test and what have you, see if the medicine, but essentially at the same, and the only reason that works in that scenario is because the people don't know themselves as part of the experiment if they've taken the medicine. Now, so if you take people from a placebo experiment and then you pretty much say the results of this experiment show that this medicine works, and then now you've put this belief behind this medicine, and then you go to give it to a person, and then the person's attaching that this thing works. So really they're just swallowing a placebo belief of I'm going to be okay, I'm going to be better, I'm going to be okay, I'm going to be better, and then they start to get better, you know. Pill. Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's yeah, P ill. Right? Life is it, like P is life and life is ill pill. I mean, that'll pretty interesting. And ill is I will. I apostrophe LL is I will. So life I will. Life will make you sick, man. Yeah, it can. It can. But yeah, that's why you balance yourself to make it better. Harmony. Yeah, what you want to share? You got what magic card did you want to share with us today, Tom? You want to get into some of that or pull some cards here?
Yeah, we can do that.
Or you guys want to go in? I mean, we haven't done I guess a ton on games, but we can do some more if you guys want.
Um, I know Mike has you said it's the gods of Warhammer. I'm curious to hear about that if you want to share that because that sounds really wild.
Yeah, chaos. The four gods of chaos. Literally, that's what they're called.
Nice.
Chaos is basically the warp, which is a manifestation of our thoughts.
Wow, that's wild. That is relevant.
Yeah, that is super relevant. That's neat.
And in 40k, it always turns out that those thoughts manifest as demons.
Hmm. And they're the
So
chaos
the four
gods,
gods
or
of chaos, they fight against the forces of the Imperium and the forces of the Materium, because they're the Immaterium.
wow,
But they cannot exist without the Materium. So it's they strive for an endless fight,
warlocks.
basically.
Mhm. Wow. Yeah, that totally sounds like real life. I knew Steiner talks a lot about he calls it the War in Heaven, which I guess took place in the mid 1800s. And then the demons fell to Earth, which is why we're dealing with the Luciferic beings, so to speak.
Yeah, in 40k they're manifested through sorcery, manifestation,
Right.
and they have four aspects. There's Korn, which is the Lord of Battle. Siege is the Lord of Change. Nurgle is the Lord of Decay, and Slanesh is the Prince of Excesses.
It was corn, you said?
Yeah,
And
Hey, corn.
siege.
Siege. Yeah,
Siege.
it's Z EENTCH.
Oh, God.
You go and try and give that a pronunciation.
Yeah, really.
Those almost are like substances.
But yeah, that's sort of what they are. Corn is the manifestation of everything that is war and death, and Siege is the ever changing nature of reality. Nurgle is the force of nature, basically,
Wow. Wasn't Nurgle
and
one of
and
the Lord of the Rings guys? Like one of the demons of that?
Oh, I don't recall. I'm reading Lord of the Rings at current, but I haven't got to that part where I don't think Nurgle is in Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are cool.
What's Slanesh do again?
Slanesh is the Prince of Excess, so everything that is extreme,
Oh wow,
everything
Lucifer.
that is in excess, that is the manifestation.
That's really cool. That sounds like if you were to anthropomorphize the elements into deity type things, that almost sounds like that in a way. That's interesting. And invert them for less savory output.
Yeah, for game purposes, the game needs a villain, right? What better to have the extreme manifestations of our mind portrayed in such form, because that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
And those like Space Marine chapters, legions that turned to chaos, they started seeing the Emperor as a false god, and that's what the whole deal is turning into now.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. Hmm.
Yep.
That's disturbing.
People are going to be questioning walnuts soon enough.
Hmm.
Telling you, walnuts are going to be prized possession coming up.
Walnuts?
Yep.
How's that?
You know why? Because there's not going to be any food at Walmart. And the only thing out there is going to be seeds on the trees. It's better than bark and roots.
I saw an image yesterday someone shared with me of apparently outside of our country, all the ships are being delayed and blocked off intentionally, it seems.
Yeah, so we can't have food on the shelves. It's totally a staged thing, man. That's so hilarious. Some stores are fully stocked, and then other stores are empty.
Yeah, I've
It's
noticed.
all artificially created.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because for a long time here it was fine, and you could still get avocados actually, which I consider to be quite, I don't want to say luxurious, but if you could still get avocados, it's pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
But everything else now they've reduced almost um, their inventory by quite a lot. But you can buy tons of soda everywhere I go. Tons of soda.
Of course, you can buy tons of soda. Like at the beginning of that whole situation, you had the runs for toilet paper, right? Everybody went for toilet paper because
Yeah.
what if we run out of toilet paper? And then here in the Netherlands, they uploaded a video of a guy driving around on his forklift through not one but three warehouses, laughing his head off because all he was passing was stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of toilet paper.
That's funny.
Three warehouses full, and he was like, "Yeah, we're about to run out of toilet paper, guys."
Oh my god, dude! You got enough toilet paper for 100,000 for 5 years.
That's what he basically said at the end of the film. Like, we've got enough toilet paper in these three warehouses to last 5 years, and there's more warehouses with toilet paper all over Europe. Don't worry.
Oh my!
It's such a
But
goofy prepping thing. Like, what are you gonna do?
like, you can wipe your ass with a leaf, right? I mean, come on.
Imagine you stocked up on nothing but toilet paper and didn't get any food, and if shit were to hit the fan, you'd be like, well, at least I can eat this, I guess.
Yeah, you're not gonna have to shit because there's not gonna be any food that you're eating, so you're not even gonna need paper.
You gotta eat toilet paper?
Yeah, I need food first so I can work up a shit, so I can use the paper.
My favorite interpretation of that though was Tom Green did a thing about that. He said he thinks it was just really a misinterpretation of the whatever was going on in that because it's bulky, it takes up a lot of space on the shelves. So when people started buying it, and then when a lot of it went off the shelves, it's like the shelves looked more empty because typically that stuff is bigger anyway. It wasn't as bad as people thought, but just the fact that that's how it went down, it made it look way worse. I don't know if that's true, but
Usually supermarket keep a lot of toilet paper
yeah,
stored in the back in storage because it takes up a lot of space.
Right, yeah.
Right? Because if you got like 20 of those rolls, it's like you
Yeah.
can fit like 3 packs, and then somebody has to go and fetch a couple of new ones.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh no, the world's
Yeah.
gonna end. At least I can clean my ass properly.
At least I can wipe my ass.
Yeah.
I don't think the world could handle Tom Green in 2021. Like that was like we were probably hitting the height of our free speech there when he was talking about having sex with moose and just all the just different weird odd things Tom Green would say. He was Canadian, was he not?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I lied. As at that age, I must have been like 18 at the time. I just thought it was hilarious. So, I just remember some really weird Was he the one in Freddy Got Fingered? That was a movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it was supposed to be the worst rated movie of all time. Like that's the whole, which is pretty neat and ironic. Maybe it's actually got something worth some value in there, or are they just making fun of? You know,
I don't know. I didn't see that movie. I don't know.
Sure.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's obviously kind of got quite the catchball title there. But yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like people would have a tough time with that kind of energy in 2021, like not know how to handle it. Just, get, you can't say that. Why can't I say that? Oh, because we're in 2021, and we're really sensitive now, and we pretty much, we don't want to hurt our image. You don't want anybody to think about you or think anything that you participate in this or that reality. And I mean, it's such a fucking, it's so gross, man. I just,
Exactly. That's how I was thinking last night. Like it's just, it's
yeah,
abhorrent. Abhorrent. That's one of my favorite words.
like, what the hell is going on, man? Like,
What's the point? That's what I
like
keep asking.
it feels really ridiculous. Like we've got to be at the blow up part almost here, where things just can't go on anymore. I mean, when do we hit that spot?
So in poker, in blackjack, you can do what's called like a double down, and I feel like a lot of people are double downing on straight mistakes, and just so you know, that's a double loss. So, um, you know, have fun. I guess I don't know. It's hard to describe, really.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever, your choice.
Yeah, live it up while you can. I feel like they're sucking people in or something. Like they're just, we're going down, and we just want to take as much of you motherfuckers as we can with us. And
Yeah.
that's pretty much.
That's what it seems like, right? This ultimate sort of last power grab, because it's going to end. Let's take as much as we possibly can, and then it's over.
Yeah, yeah.
I
That's what like. It's gonna just one day we're gonna wake up and it's just gonna be different. Like the blink of an eye is gonna be a real thing at some point here.
I used to. I could definitely see the play style they're going for. It's basically damned if you do, damned if you don't, or yeah, I'm just gonna take everything with me. I used to play Warcraft 3, and in that you could be the humans, which you have to build like a house, so to speak, to give yourself more capacity to have more troops or whatever. And in that, you could build. They had the smallest, whatever house. You build a little house, and then you could build more guys. And so one of the strategies you could do is, if you were losing, you could basically take one of your dudes and run him into the woods, or find somewhere in the map that you could just like hide, or like cut a tree down and try to build a house in the woods somewhere, right? Which would basically force your opponent to have to find it, because in order for them to win, they would have to destroy all of your buildings. So that was like the ultimate really huge wasting of time. Like I kind of regret wasting my time that way, but you could literally go find a woods, build your house, even if it was partially built, they still had to kill it. And
Go off
Yeah.
the grid.
yep, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're basically like, fuck you. You can take all my base, but I'm gonna build a house in the woods. And I would just like leave. I would just let the game play and see if they found it, and then people would just leave because they don't want to spend hours trying to find your one stupid house, and it's super cheap and dumb, and you're just wasting time, and you have to wonder like, is the time doing that worth it? And obviously, no.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right.
it's definitely a warlock strategy. But,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
I mean,
guess.
that scares me for sure. That's all. Is like, how is time being spent? Can you get something out of it? I feel like there are certain things we can, like games with a lot of like possibilities and things at angles you're studying, and where especially ones where you have to play character and jump and roll. I mean, which there's not many of those online anymore, but at least ones that involve awesome variables where you have to study patterns and overcome these certain things. I mean, they feel like they can offer definite mental, qualities and things. But we're losing out on a lot of stuff we really came here for, which is all the physical, feely stuff, analog stuff. You know? Right. So it's not. It just needs to be more back in balance, I mean, and I get it. This world just came out. It's a brand new world. I think we're gonna still probably be seeing that, everything switching over economically, government, digital, everything's gonna go digital, or they're gonna try forcing that digital ID, on us, and I'm sure we're going to be in some kind of social status structure world because nobody's stopping it from coming right now, and it's coming.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. That's good.
Doctors do.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
probably the ones fighting are the ones that are losing money that didn't switch over from the old system, and it's probably going to be where, because I mean, I look at like a banking situation. Why, if you had an extra 3, 5, 10, whatever thousand right now, why would you store it in your bank each month and get 15, 18 cents on your money
Right.
when you put it in this, other digital economy that's booming, and, these other things that where, I mean, sure, is it more volatile and risky? Yeah, but like at least you're gonna have some fun with it instead of knowing you're gonna get 16 cents. I mean,
Right.
it's dumb. Like you're letting these huge banks that have become so rich, so gluttonous, they literally rule over our entire system. It feels like with their monetary policy and everything that happens, and like look what all that power does. I mean, power corrupts essentially, and it's it's just, it's this kind of puts the power back into people a little bit, I mean, and that's one of the huge battles I have is like, it's digital, I don't like it, it's moving away from analog, but hey, it's also moving power back into, a decentralized platform. Like, that's not the worst thing in the world to happen. So what do
Yeah.
you do, It's just it just needs balance, I mean, probably inside of me is where it needs balance, but
Yeah, we gotta start with the self really, and finding your balance and how you're gonna participate in the worldwide game, right?
I'd say in a
Right.
way we're resetting the game.
Yeah, yeah, new rules. The thing that's great about the digital currency is like it eliminates the middleman, So
I hate
they don't get a cut anymore. So of course they don't like it, and um,
it too. I mean, why? Of
Yeah,
course they're gonna, you know.
yeah,
fighting it tooth and nail, right? That lady that Biden wants to put in charge.
They banned cryptos. That tells me that our whole banking system
Yeah,
comes from it, probably.
yep. But they also have a huge stake, obviously. So they're always playing both hands, of course.
Oh, for sure,
They're the
for
number
sure.
one number one botter cheater script kids.
Well, that's a good point. I'm sure they have a large stake, but they tell their people they can't have any or own any, and they just don't want to see the flood of the digital yawn because they're coming out, I think, with their digital crypto or their digital yawn right now, and they don't want any distractions or anything to go, weird with it. They don't want people converting the digital yawn into other stable coins, essentially.
Yeah, I mean they're playing a losing game. I mean technology. I mean I look at the art scene, like the NFTs or whatever, all that stuff. It's like that's just like booming, and it's not great because it really doesn't include the average artist or anything at all. But it's still moving, like Decentraland and stuff like that, and the Odyssey, right, where it's like it's blockchain video, like you can't delete it, you can't censor it, So, um, yeah, I mean, good luck. You're just wasting our time at this point. Pack it up, get out of here, go play another game, whatever.
Right.
You know.
I mean, it's a huge thing too. All the things that are pissing people off right now, that's going to be something is going to kind of step in the future and be like, "Yo, nobody can edit this if once you set it to go, or what." I mean, this is you own the rights to this piece of digital whatever.
And if you think
Um,
about it too, it's like information in general, right? Because like the term you can't unsee, right? So when we see things or we learn things, it's like now your choices, how are you going to proceed, and that's huge. I mean, when
right.
you realize like what's actually going on in the world, like I don't know how you can exist the way you used to unless you're, choosing arrogance, choosing ignorance, right? So,
Right.
which is dumb. I mean, to me, that seems like a karmic death spiral, just based on what I know from Steiner. I mean, I don't know.
Ignorance is never a good thing.
Yeah, I know it's like Tesla said, like one of the greatest evils of all humankind is ignorance. I'm paraphrasing, but um, yeah, I don't know. Good luck. It's a
Yeah.
there's better games to play. Like I know one of the things I think is interesting with games because we're kind of talking about that, but like a lot of people are hooked on things like gambling and these casinos. They build casinos, which if you don't know, casinos destroy every industry they go to, like, and that's just how it works. And
yeah.
if you don't know it's rigged, you know, it's again like there's better games to play. I've met people that talk about gambling and they go, oh, it's all about the winning, and I'm like, no, it's not. Like you need to learn a different game. You need to learn like a real game. Like learn chess, learn poker versus other people, not slot machines. That's not a game. That's not learn a fighting game. Learn Magic. Learn a game that requires your brain to think, like actually solve
That's it.
problems. Um, so yeah, there's no excuse too. You can't be like, oh, it's no, playing slots is literally the worst game you could ever play. Like that's how people play life, though. They just think if they keep pushing the button, eventually they're gonna win. Or if I keep buying a
Yeah.
lottery ticket, eventually I'm gonna win. And it's not a good game.
Yo, oh,
Right.
the game is rigged.
Yeah, and you got people that have been playing the game so long that their stakes are far lower than yours too. So it's just a value of which game you're gonna play. Are you gonna grow some food and hedge your bets as the future and use your land properly instead of manicuring grass, or you know,
That's it.
there's just little. There's so many little things we can do to improve just the whole world. And
You know the basketball thing at the fair where you shoot the basketball and you get a prize if you can just shoot it through the hoop.
yeah,
Well, I saw a video where the scam there is the rims are oval shaped, so they're not like traditional. So when even a perfect shot hits the rim,
right.
um, and the only way to make it in is to move at a 45-degree angle to the basket so you can hit that oblique angle in.
Oh wow.
So
And
when they go to show you, casually just throw it up from the side or from the angle and make one, and then it makes it people think they can just go up real close straight on and get it in.
right. That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the little things
That
like that.
I know, man, and that's why like you don't know it's rigged. Like you think your mind can overcome it, but look, you don't see this physical thing in the way.
It's a trick.
So,
Just like
yeah, it is a trick.
just like most of the things.
It's
um.
an illusion.
Uh. Hey, do you guys want to see the magic card I have today?
Yes.
Yeah,
And then, Mike, you got a magic, or you're gonna draw one from the deck, right?
Yeah, I got to figure out. I'll take the cat deck.
So, let me send you a picture, Barry. Did you see that? Did you see that bunker buster I posted in the delineation?
thing is freaking badass.
You're probably like gonna buy some of them, aren't you?
Right. Those are all left over too from the Gulf.
Wait, what?
The bunker busters.
Yeah, the
A lot
picture.
of Let me see.
Did you see the picture I posted?
I gotta pull it up. I got this. Let's say I got the squirrel in my hand.
Oh, nice.
Okay, let's here.
All right.
Oh yeah, dude. You can't be having any of those. Yep, there it is. Yeah, that is a bunker buster. That would blow my shit up right now. And the shitty thing is I made a pact with somebody else with like cigars and alcohol, so I'm pretty much at this point I'm in it for beyond myself.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a pack, but I'm just gonna do it and see what
Yeah.
happens.
Well, it's good to have a pact with yourself.
Yes.
Ooh, this card. Growth Spiral and Key to Pride.
So okay, so Growth Spiral came out a couple years ago. I was super surprised actually because it's a originally it was a common, and that means it's there's lots of them. But this one I was really blown away. It's super powerful card. It's called Growth Spiral. It's 1 green mana, 1 blue mana, 2 total. It's an instant, so you can play it whenever you want. And you draw a card, and then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So the best way to play this card is you get like turn 2, the end of your opponent's turn. You would play this card, especially if you have a land in your hand. Even if you don't, it's still a positive trade-off. It's a free card. You would draw a card.
Right.
If you get a land, you get to play it. So your next turn, you would start with an extra land. Tremendously powerful, especially for like a rushdown deck, which was I was using it for. And then they reprinted it and upgraded the rarity to a rare card. So just let you know that they made a mistake in that, because that's a really
That's a big oopsie.
right, yeah, super powerful card. I was really blown away. It's not a. Hmm?
Did they print it as a common and then start printing it as a rare, so they overprinted it in the beginning?
Probably not overprinted. There's probably just a ton of them because they're commons, but basically the card's very powerful. I mean, for the price it's pure value. Other than the cost of it being in your deck, which again, it's great. It's a great card. So yeah, they reprinted it in the recent series as a rare now, and I thought the flavor text on the new one's really really cool. So I'm gonna read that really quick. I've gleaned greater insight from the spiraling of a single fern than I have from all the books I've ever read. Kian Quandrix Dean. So super great card. Again, now it's a rare.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It is rare.
I like that because we're talking about games. We're talking about trying to maintain the optimism of the world and carrying on. And this type of card sort of motivates me in a way where it's like, not only do you get a new card, you get a tremendous advantage. Like this card's mostly advantage, and it's red, it's green, right? Earth, creatures, life force, right? Blue with the intellect, the watery aspect of intellect and sort of intelligence. So it's a very great tactical card to speed up your gameplay. I use this with a rush down merfolk deck. Merfolk are like I don't know, fishmen, fishwomen, whatever, and it was really powerful. It was one of my fastest decks, and usually you don't build a rush down deck with green blue, but it worked really well. So yeah, awesome.
That's good
card.
stuff. Nice card.
Thanks. What did you draw, Mike?
King of the Pride out of the cat
Ooh,
deck.
That's inspiring.
Other cats you control get +2/+1. So if you have a cat deck, you play the King of the Pride, all your cats get +2/+1 in offensive and defensive.
Nice.
Everybody gets a boost when the King of the Pride shows up.
Yeah.
We
And
need
so-
that. We need
So
that.
adds the flavor text, glorious to walk again across the savannah with my beloved.
I like that a lot. We definitely need that. We need I know we were talking about
We need the
we need a vision of the future.
Show
We
up.
don't have one, and we don't have a leader. We don't have anyone. No one's. We don't know who to trust. My grandfather
Right.
was saying stuff like, "Oh, I don't know who to believe." It's like, well, you could start with me, but like, I would appreciate it. But hey, we don't have a leader right now. We don't have anyone that's providing useful visions of the future. So it's rough. We don't have a king
And
of
it's
the pride.
and it's everywhere.
Yep. It's sad in a way, really, because
I mean, it's like you've got to become your own personal leader, and we're ripping away the outer dependence for each person until. I mean, it's going to come down to self-responsibility, and then there's going to be compassionate outflow from the community supporting people, lifting themselves up. I mean, hopefully.
yeah,
And that's just
definitely it's gonna happen.
a cohesive way a community can be together is everybody learns to take care of themselves, and then we all can make parts of our lives easier through communal experience.
Yeah, that's a
You
great
know,
card.
Working together, man. You're growing potatoes, I'm growing tomatoes. Awesome.
Right? Yeah, if I go cut down, work all this firewood, and I mean, this fire can heat more than just me and my family. It's going to put off a lot of heat, or whatever.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Reap the benefits of nature and share.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's crazy we talk about problems like poverty and food problems. It's like, man, like I see so much grass in America, like it just makes my skin crawl. It's like, what the hell? Like literally just grow some food.
It's nuts. It's
Grow
as
some
it
nuts.
as official numbers, quote unquote, state that we produce food for 10 billion people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they say we have 7, so there is enough food for everybody. It just gets tossed away and misplaced and misused. And
Wasted.
Right.
Just
gosh, you get
wasted.
pushed into the wrong products and all of that stuff.
What, you don't like corn in everything?
No, but that's not a European thing, so I'm saved from that.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I can avoid the corn if necessary.
So you guys probably have potatoes and stuff.
We got
Yeah, right.
Chips.
potatoes, yeah.
Yeah. sucker for those. Yeah, I got one buddy who said he's given up food and water this week. We'll see. Water seems I think he died. So hope he's still
Pretty
here.
intense.
What? How
Serious.
do you give up water? That doesn't even make any sense. What's he drinking, or what is he hydrating with?
He said he doesn't give up tobacco and weed yet. So I was like, man, this is awesome. This is gonna be great. You're gonna have the most cotton malt you ever had. You not be able to have any water.
Wow.
But I feel like he's gonna have to let water come back in. Like, obviously, what are you gonna go stand out in the rain and just absorb water?
Yeah,
You
he's
know?
just gonna take like multiple showers to hydrate himself.
Yeah, that would be neat. I mean, I bet you could do it. At some point, you would start just absorbing it.
I don't understand why though. Like water is pretty great. I mean, it's very simple. It's boring, no doubt. Like after a while, but like it's just straight does its job. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to like get cravings for your whatever your fix of sugar or caffeine.
Yeah, but you can make water happy in so many different ways. Just add a bit of fruit,
Yeah,
and the water tastes different. You know, it's so simple. It's so easily manipulable. Water. Like all you need to do is like squish a grape in it, and your water tastes different.
yeah. I had lemon and lime. You just chop up a bunch
I
of
love
them,
that.
and it's
Yeah,
like great. It's perfect, and it's
I
alkaline,
love.
so you're getting a good little boost of power.
I squeeze like half a lemon in this half a liter glass of water.
Yeah,
That's so
That's
good.
a standard. It's my lemonade.
Yeah.
yeah.
No
Water.
sugar added.
Right. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think too, one of the things I think interesting about diet and all that stuff, because you have people that, oh, everyone's got to be a vegan and all this stuff, and it's like, first of all, I don't agree with any of that, but second of all, like, that's not that important. Like, if you're eating meat still, like, that's fine, chill out, like, it's cool, like, that's not the problem. That's literally not a problem in my book right now, like, compared to all
No,
the shit going on in the world, like, I don't care what you eat. I literally don't care. Like that it's just that's not a problem, you know. Do your
yeah,
thing, eat what's good for you, and let's solve the real problems in the world first, and then we can get to that. You know what I mean?
a whole lot of people will turn either vegan or vegetarian when they have to slaughter their first animal.
Right.
Mhm.
I've done that
Good
Yeah.
though.
luck.
I've gutted deer. I've gutted several fish. I've gutted rabbits.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
not saying like it's going to be a guaranteed everybody vegan thing, but a lot of people will have a problem with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and kill this bunny,
Right.
or like kill this chicken. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
People want it in a nice plastic package wrap.
It right,
Right.
nice plastic wrap,
Well, they don't even want
some
that. They want chicken nuggets. They want whatever is
Yeah.
inside
egg
a
nugget.
breaded,
Yep,
whatever.
bread it up. Yep,
Yeah. I
that's
don't even want to see the meat. Yep.
Yeah. Which is interesting
Yeah.
because you can make tofu taste just like chicken nuggets.
oh yeah, easily. That's simple too.
Yeah.
Insects taste nuggets. I mean, they have insect factories in Illinois that are making protein things like protein meats
Yeah.
and stuff.
I'm not sure
Like
about.
that's yeah, insects. It's crazy, man.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I
There's
really. I ate scorpions before, and
there's more insect factories than there are meat factories in America. That's weird, right?
wow.
It's a thing from Cambodia.
Crazy. Yeah,
Mm.
no, they're growing. I think what they do is they grow a certain kind of bacteria or larvae, and then they harvest. It's essentially they're growing protein.
Wow.
Um, but I think it's technically some kind of insect. I don't know.
An invertebrate.
I'll be wrong. So do your own research.
There's a movie called Snowpiercer, and basically the world froze over. So for some reason, they all jumped on this train that just keeps going around a huge circuit. And basically, it's the poor people in the back, and the leader in the front, and then the rich people, whatever, on the way to the front, right? But
Yeah.
I hate to. This is a spoiler, so turn it off or whatever you don't want to hear. But ultimately, they end up finding out what they've been being fed, which are basically gelatinous brown bars, and it's just a huge vat of roaches that just it literally just grinds them all up into a paste and shoots out little brown gelatinous bars, and that's what they've been eating. So, there's people in the world that would have zero issues giving that to the masses. So,
But
that's
that's what I mentioned by Cambodia. That happened in Cambodia because Pol Pot back in the day just didn't like anybody with any intelligence had to die.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, like they're doing, trying to get rid of that.
Shout outs to dead Kennedys.
Nobody was allowed to farm anymore. So yeah, what do? You turn to the forest, and in the forest there's a lot of insects. So these people started eating insects, and that's where that whole stuff sprouted from, basically.
Crazy. I mean, if the human spirit has a determination to live, it'd start eating insects. Hopefully.
It makes you wonder, though, what is their intelligence or what type of knowledge, I guess, was lacking for them not to know what plants they could eat, or did they just like scorch all the plants?
That wouldn't surprise me, like one bit.
Yeah.
But most of it is a big fat jungle, and on the floors of the jungle, there's not a lot happening.
Right.
That's the thing. Everything in the forest lives in the canopy.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Like 95% of all life in the jungles lives in the canopies.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty desolate down there. That's like the deep ocean.
Yeah. Totally foreign place that we can't exist, necessarily speaking.
Yeah, and there's some big insects.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta eat something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if we need to eat. It seems like we do need water, but that's because we're made of water. And I guess we need some. I know Steiner basically says we run on basically salt and water. And we convert the salt into the stuff.
Yeah, I see water and salt and magnesium. I guess magnesium and salt are essentially the same, but yeah, I mean that's really all you need. I mean, I'm not gonna say all you need, but like if you had to cut it down to like if I was on a deserted island and I could pick a few things for a week, I'd probably pick a couple gallons of water.
I think everything else in food sort of provides you with a experience.
Yeah,
So to say.
A feeling, yeah.
Like your body still transforms it into like quote unquote cubes of energy that you use during the day. And if you figure out the basic components of that's what you can sustain yourself on. But like it tastes it's a much nicer experience if you put it in the form of a strawberry or a fish or whatever the fuck you like.
Okay. Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, the power thing.
Like that's what you get like worldwide. Like whole peoples live on just rice.
I love
right
rice.
with some vegetables added and some meat here and there, but
yeah, I love that diet. That's kind of my diet. I eat tofu.
If the world ended, I could eat rice.
Say that again.
I said if the world went to shit, I could definitely eat rice every day. Like that's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love rice.
What was like and that's Asia, but in the Western world it's mostly potatoes or corn, and both are not like very.
Yeah, I could live off
potatoes are a nightshade.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily the best plant for a human being to consume.
Yeah, tuber. Yeah.
And corn, we have a shitload of problems processing corn as human beings. So why do we eat corn?
I don't know. Right. I'm always surprised when I see corn at like if you go to an event or something and they have corn, I'm like, why? It's such a goofy thing.
Yeah.
It's like, out of all the things you could make, you get corn. It's like, have you tried Brussels sprouts or broccoli?
I don't like Brussels sprouts per se, but broccoli is pretty good.
You know,
I love both broccoli and Brussels. Yeah, both of those. You put them in the oven,
yep.
bake them, crisp them up, or you steam them. I mean,
Yeah,
or you
steamed
eat them
broccoli.
raw,
Awesome.
raw Brussels.
Hey, Brett on the channel, or on YouTube says, can you play golf on broccoli?
Can you play golf on broccoli?
Well, you could use it as a
Like,
tea, I guess.
Yeah, maybe it's a trick
You-
question.
Now, Brett is Brett is
Always
the lawn thing. You need grass to play golf, you know?
Right, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like on drugs, on mushrooms, on broccoli, not like on walking on broccoli on grass. That's funny.
Well, technically speaking, you know, grass is full of DMT.
What?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, there's no way for us to extract it from the plant, but
Well,
cows can. Why do you think
Don't
cows are
say
always
no
happy?
way. Don't say no way. We just haven't found
That's
the
how
way.
cows make their money.
All
That's
right,
how.
fair enough. I concede there, Todd. We haven't found a way to extract the DMT from the grass, but yeah, it's full of DMT. Why do you think cows are so happy?
Right? How do you think
Oh,
the
man.
mushrooms grow inside the shit? You know, it needs the shit to grow. Which
Yeah, it's exactly.
grass. Yeah.
That's- I would eat grass for sure if that was worked for me. I would definitely eat all the grass. You know, that's really cool because that Steiner says the way animals actually see human beings is they don't see in the way we see in the physical aspect. They actually see in an ethereal aspect. So we are actually, to them, we basically. Now, I don't know if dogs and cats are the same. I think dogs and cats have probably pushed closer to where we see because they can see much more finer details, obviously, but like deer and cows and all those type of things, they see ethereal bodies. They don't actually see our physical bodies, which that's interesting. If they are able to extract the dimethyltryptamine from the grass, that's like basically that would be to me it makes 100% sense, and I could actually probably see cow vision if that's the case.
It's like a cow has 7 stomachs to digest all of that stuff, so it makes sense that it is actually able to
Yeah,
like
wow, that's
extract
awesome.
that.
Different gas chambers. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cow backwards is woke.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. That's the ticket. You can be a cow too.
Hey, remember that first episode from South Park
What one?
No,
where
too
the
long.
aliens, like Cartman gets this this device planted up in his ass, and the aliens come, and then they talk to the cows.
They
Oh,
do.
That's funny.
that would explain
The
too why they're
aliens
holy.
don't like they don't spend like a second with the humans. They talk to the cows, and then it's like moo 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 moo.
That's pretty awesome. And so we're the dumb ones. Yeah, that's. I mean, essentially, if you were flying over, we're the only ones fighting with ourselves. Everything
Yeah.
else is with themselves, and
Yep.
yeah,
Hmm.
all the other animals are communicating. We're the ones off.
Look at the dolphins. They're pretty much as intelligent as human beings, or so they say. And these
Right.
guys don't have to do like a days of work.
Yeah, they're
Right?
definitely intelligent. There's I have a CD, the John C. Lilly CD, where they have so they taught a dolphin how to speak English to a degree, and you can listen to it. It sounds basically like a child or a baby trying to speak the language, and it's not because they can't. It's definitely not because they don't understand it. It's because they literally the physical capabilities of them is limited. But they definitely, he says like hello, and he can understand what she's saying, and he basically fell in love with the girl, and then long story short, they end up getting separated because the project gets shut down due to bad propaganda publicity, and he ends up like drowning himself in his tank a few years later, which is pretty sad. But they're very, very, very intelligent.
Yeah.
There was a relationship forming with a dolphin there. Pretty much.
Right? Yeah. It fell in love with her pretty much, but you know. I don't know. Love's probably not the correct word for that, but
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple squirrels that they really love us and all. I mean, I feel it. But yeah, there's probably an undiscovered word out there somewhere for sure. It's like a stewardship thing, like taking care of. Um, I
Yeah,
don't know.
I think it's interesting if they do only see the ether body, then that means they see, like dogs are a great example. Like they can recognize your personality instantly. Like, and if you think
Yeah.
of it, them seeing your ether body, which is going to be your whatever aura, right? Like your real personality, the person behind your physical aspect, right? So if that's the case, like it makes 100% sense that a dog can see you and say, "Oh, this person's scared," or "Oh, this person loves dogs," or "This person whatever." Like they can just see that. I think cats are
Yeah.
that way 100%. I think because supposedly they can
Yeah.
like see in the dark and all that. I think they probably have the best vision in that regard because they can see the ether body, probably can see a bit of the physical body as well. Um, but
Yeah, cats can definitely see in the dark. That's when they hunt. Yeah,
Yeah, they get their
for
eyes
sure.
get really big in the dark.
Squirrels cannot see in the dark. They
oh
like to
well.
go. Yeah, I don't think they can. I
Well,
mean,
the flying squirrels can see there
I guess Amy says flying squirrels can see in the dark
because they're nocturnal.
because they're nocturnal.
Oh
And
well.
these ones we have, they hunker down about sunset time. They like to watch the sun go down, and like on a branch or in the windowsill, and then they pretty much start getting kind of snuggly right after that, and then they get up really early, like they're super early risers, like 6 o'clock pretty much,
Hmm.
and that most active time is 6 to 8 probably.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a squirrel at night.
They get really sleepy, like you can, like if you stumbled on them, it'd be like they are drunk. They wouldn't. They're tied to huge electrical beams, I think. Like I don't know. They're
Well, they'd be
pretty neat.
definitely tied to the sun then, right? Based on if they get up when the sun comes up and so forth.
True, and then they get really drowsy at night, like their consciousness is all distorted.
Huh.
They're scared. They want to feel protected, you know, or they want to stay. They spend their day making sure they have a very safe place organized with plenty of food and resources for the night for when their consciousness gets all fucked up.
You got hummingbirds there, guys, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we birds.
Yeah, that's interesting what they do at night. They go into torpor. They're
What do they
literally
do?
they're pretty much dead.
Oh wow.
Wow, like unconscious? Like they just pass
Yeah,
out?
all pretty much unconscious. They really slow their heartbeat right down. Like normally it functions at like I think it's 800 to 1500 beats per minute
Jeez.
when they like hover and fly about. But when they sleep, it
I didn't
slows
know they.
down, like it slows right down to absolutely almost nothing.
Can you believe
And
they
they,
fly miles? I mean,
Oh
that's.
yeah, they vibrate.
Oh, Amy says they vibrate at a super high rate, like they're essentially just floating bubbles, probably.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they're amazing, really. Beautiful too. Super vibrant colors.
Like that's pretty neat that we're gonna fly 2,000 miles this way for the winter, and we'll see you guys back. Like we didn't see a lot this year. Um,
We only saw a few.
yeah, only a few. It's pretty low year on them. Kind of like I don't know. It was a real low year with mash, corn mash, types of seed in the tree. But acorns are real low in the oaks, and hickories are real low in the hickories. It's like an every other year or every 3 year thing with those. Kind of weird.
Hmm.
I don't know if hummingbirds are the same way. It was a big squirrel, that's for sure. We've had a couple of them. Yeah, I think, like you said earlier on that one magic card, it can get more information I've ever gotten just off of listening fern in the woods. I mean, it's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, just the bubbles and the little colors off the little angles of light coming through the, little some places in the woods, it's just you have different scenes of light. Like if you ever walk into a aspen patch or a birch patch in the woods or a pine patch, you'll notice the darkness. But like an aspen or a birch, like you'll notice it's real sunny. You know, it's like beams of sunlight flowing in. Where other areas like a big thick oak or pine forest is going to offer a lot more wetness, darkness. Well, pine would be the wet, and then we'd have I guess pine would be dry with oak. I'm thinking of things up on the hills, but anyways, yeah, man, it's all different scenes essentially.
It's
But that's where
interesting. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that just feels like where the real knowledge is just in those pockets of creation, and
Yeah.
see things come you don't normally see.
That's all, like, all the masters pretty much say, like Terrence McKenna will be like, if you want a teacher, like, go see a waterfall or look at some mushrooms or eat some mushrooms, or Steiner
Be
says
in
the same
nature.
thing. Go out, look at the world. Like, it literally shows you how it all works. It's not beyond your ability to comprehend.
Be amazed and be in a childlike state. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Just chill out.
Yeah,
just let things wonder about things. How does this work? Why does this work? Why does it go? Like, so many people take so many things just for granted.
Yep.
Because that's just the way it is.
Chicken nuggets.
Chicken nugget.
Barry, do you have a card or a thing? I have
I got my right here. You wanna Okay, animal. You said animal
Sure.
card.
I've got the Cabal Tarot. I was gonna do at least one card for that.
Yeah, I'm grabbing. I got a squirrel on me, so that counts as something.
A squirrel?
Maybe I'll get. Well, a squirrel on. She's chasing me around. Yeah, I've been petting her the last hour of the show. She's just been sleeping on my lap here, so I've been a little distracted. My bad.
You're good. That's cute.
Lisa. Yeah, Maggie. She's getting in real teenagery stage where she really just doesn't want to let you leave the room. She wants to interact with you a lot. She wants to run all over your body. I don't know. She feels very safe in your presence since you raised her. Yeah.
Nice.
But her siblings are starting to come out. We're starting to see her little brothers and sisters. They look a little bigger. It's neat, the nature versus nurture. You can see a little bit more child and kid in Maggie. She's hanging on to being a baby more and more playful, where the ones outside look a little more serious. They look like they gotta go find some fucking nuts to live. Where Maggie's kind of just jumping around in joy with, she's wrestling on top of a pile of walnuts, so she doesn't care.
Living the good
life. That's it.
Spoiled a little bit.
Just a little. Okay,
it's the same for cats. They stay kittens. Yep. If you keep them indoors.
The Raven. All right, so I got the. Did you? Okay, I got the 16 Raven card. Yeah, this is an amazing card. So the Raven, right? You got Right Ascension with Ra. I mean, you've got essentially one of the most beautiful, in my opinion, like not a songbird, but an animal or a bird that has. Yeah, I mean, they just have such an ability to speak, and they have such a wide range of vocals and different sounds they can make. They blow me away. They can play any role, really, it seems like, any other bird. And they're very, very, very intelligent and smart. I always see them as a very awesome omen. If you've got a raven hanging out near you, I feel like that's like the creator, just like it's video camera drone just near you, just kind of watching you in curiosity. with that weird turning neck and blinking eye. I don't know. I love ravens.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I'm gonna read the little raven, I guess, passage here. It says, throughout time, raven has carried the medicine of magic. This has been true in many cultures across the planet. It is sacred in the medicine ways to honor raven as the bringer of magic. If the magic is bad medicine, the carrier may be honored out of fear rather than out of respect. Those who fear Raven may do so because they have been dabbling in areas which they had no knowledge, and a spell may have backfired on them. Rather than analyzing the dark side of sorcery, realize that you will fear Raven only if you need to learn about your inner fears or self-created demons. Raven magic is a powerful medicine that can give you the courage to enter the darkness of the void, which is the home of all that is not yet informed. The void is called the Great Mystery. The Great Mystery existed before all things came into being. Great Spirit lives inside this void and emerged from the Great Mystery. Raven is the messenger of the void. If Raven appears in your spread, you're about to experience a change in consciousness. This may involve walking inside the Great Mystery on another path at the edge of time. It would portend a signal brought by the raven that says, you have earned the right to see and experience a little more of life's magic. Raven's color is the color of the void, the black hole in space that holds all energy of the creative source. In native things, color black means many things, but it does not mean evil. Black can mean the seeking of answers, void, or the road of the spiritual or non-physical. The blue, black, or of raven contains an iridescence that speaks of the magic of darkness and a changeability of form and shape that brings an awakening in the process. Yep.
Very nice.
Number 16. It's a 7. Yep. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I could use some good raven energy. I'm pretty much gonna just try to come out of a fairly darker energy I've personally been in. So, we'll use a little Raven power here, which essentially is willpower, mind energy. The black, the father, the unseen, and that which is knowing. Of course, we always know what we ought to do. It feels like we know what we should do inside. With our conscience and whatnot, having one of those seems like some things must not have a conscience here. So, I mean, I don't know. I just maybe they have fun having their conscience do certain things. I wouldn't be able to bear with it. Like that's eternity you're playing with, Like why would you fool with those things? I mean, just seems silly. This should just be a place that kind of exemplifies your eternal aspects, not a place that you put yourself into pain eternally. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. But we got somebody else gonna pull one card here.
Yeah, I pulled one of the. It's a German Kabbalistic Tarot, Tree of Life Tarot deck that I have. I think we've used it before. I got the Six of Pentacles, Munzen, as it says, and that's the success card. So
Yeah, I see that.
let me see if the book has anything on this. I don't think it
Yeah,
does.
X and Pentacle, Material, Earth. Those are very physical things. Very, very. I have things right there. Energy. Very Jupiter, very expansive, giving you resources. Yeah.
Yeah, plus 6 is in the center, which is interesting, right? And the way
6 is
go ahead.
inside. Yeah, inside, center, 6. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it looks like we got the moon exalted in Taurus, right? If I'm interpreting this correctly. 6 also being the Star of David or whatever. I don't remember what else that thing's called. It's got a bunch of names.
You drawing it?
Yeah, this doesn't have anything actually on the card. But yeah, 6. Well, the way I interpret 6 is like 6 is that density, right? Like it's the pulling down from the, the esoteric into the regular world. Pentacles would be your value, where you're putting your values. A lot of people ascribe it to material wealth, but I think it's just straight value, because you like I value time or space more than like things often. And success, that's great. We could use some of that right now. There are wins going on in the world for sure. You just don't hear about them, and so it's up to you to really find the success and define what your success is too. I think that's something I know I'm personally dealing with, is trying to find my own success, and it sucks having to deal with the game of the outer world at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what the game seems to be, right? They quote unquote control the media, so it's up to us to be in our brightest light, create what you say, your own success.
Yep.
And have your own positive outlook towards things.
Absolutely. And yeah. I think too, we were talking about P, the Chira, whatever. P, you say P, faith.
Pinnacle.
Yeah, exactly. How about that, right? If that's faith, right? Like, we need to maintain the faith. We need to find, I guess, be the king of the pride for ourselves, right? Or at least push for believing in a real leader to whatever, step up and exemplify
6 is
that
a E
ourselves.
upside down.
Yeah, faith is starts with F, 6 letter sex. Yeah.
Nice. I like that. That's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, come here, baby. Got the squirrel chasing. Come on. My goodness. Can't even walk around.
She loves you that much.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's you gotta be careful leaving the room. You'll have a squirrel stuck to your shirt. Like, it's that bad. And then I got 3 dogs and 2 cats out there, so one time Charlie, the other bigger squirrel, got out there, and what happened was, I thought I would be just cool, let him see what it looked like out there, and I let him down on the railing, or like the landing, like wood panel thing near the stairs, and he went to be a curious squirrel and sniff where the wood railing went down the stairs, and he stepped on it, and he ended up sliding down the railing of the stairs, and he pretty much couldn't stop himself because it was slippery, and he slid all the way down like 30 feet onto the floor, and then decided to start just running his ass off like a wild man all over the place, bouncing off. Then he ended up in the kitchen, and while we had dogs around, it was nuts. So I'll never try that again.
That's wild.
It was bad. I don't think anybody would like eat them. It's just more like they're curious, like, what the hell is this thing?
Right.
Yeah, it's got this big fluffy tail. It's like a mouse that looks big. What's going on? It's got like a raccoon colors and shit.
I wonder if they see each other as ethereal bodies as well. That would be interesting. They probably do.
That would be. I bet they do. Yeah. Yeah, I bet they do. And I like what you said about that too. I mean, I feel like they're like that. Like they definitely see your energy, so there's no question about that. And it's weird because other squirrels outside now, and like deer and animals and shit, they look at, when me and Amy go on walks, like they get pretty close to us and shit. It just feels like animals look at us a little bit differently. I don't know if it's from bonding with these squirrels, if they've been helping our field or something, or what have you, but it seems like it's spreading. But yeah, I definitely...
Your whole attitude towards them pays off.
Yeah.
There's nothing you want from them other than to
you just know we're
be in their presence,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's no ulterior motive going on there. It's just you walking there and they're there,
Right.
You're not going to take pictures. You're not going to chase after them, anything. You're just there.
Exactly. Yep. There's no expectations. We're just sharing a forest. Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
In,
And they know, they're well aware. Like if they sense your energy field, they know that.
right, exactly. Yeah, they
I
would see
love
it. They would just see it, feel it, feel, whatever. In Rick and
Mhm.
Morty, which is an animation, there's an episode where uh, Morty gets the ability to listen to squirrels, and the squirrels are essentially like they're like CIA almost, like interdimensional CIA. So they're like he's onto us, and then like
No.
at one point they open the garage door and there's like a million squirrels standing outside like to get him because he's compromised their operation or whatever.
Oh, dude, I got probably have that episode. I haven't made it to it yet.
Oh
I've got
yeah,
like
you'll
Rick
like
and
that
Morty
one.
seasons 3.
Yeah, you'll really like that.
That sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could be, man. I mean, they're pretty neat creatures. I don't know. I'm still figuring them out, and I got 2 of them living with me. So
Nice.
we got a girl and a boy, so it's gonna be to the point where
Uh-oh.
we might have. Yeah, I mean, girls and boys have sex, so I mean, we might end up with some new squirrels coming up here soon.
Baby
And
squirrels.
these are the only 2 body types and personality types of squirrels in the area. These are the 2 dominant ones, and we have a female from one and a male from the other. And I mean, the males are Charlie's big man, and then this little girl, she's just a wild, crazy little bouncing off the wall thing. And yep, gonna be a bunch of little ones running around at some point, but she's just a little thing, so we're probably a year away from that. But man, teenagers love to have sex because when we got Theo is the dad of this one. Theo went out, never came back, ended up taking over the alpha male spot in the soffit area of the house, kicked probably Charlie's dad out, and now Charlie's dad's probably out in the street. But Charlie upgraded the blood because he's inside in the house now. And then this one, the alpha Theo took over outside as the freaking crazy one, and he's pretty much running the show now. He's dropping his seed everywhere, and we got a bunch of Theo babies running around, and they're crazy. I mean, Theo himself had seizures and stuff. We got him through that, and then we probably put a crazy squirrel out in the kingdom that shouldn't be breeding, and he's out there just breeding with everything. But yeah, anyway, teenagers like to have sex. I mean, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
And we might not have to wait a year. We'll see. Squirrels live till 25 years in captivity. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
I mean, I'm looking at being 60 something, but with still having the same squirrel. That's
cool,
pretty
though.
nice. That's a long relationship with an animal.
I've had my cat for near 18 years now.
Ooh, that's a long time. Yeah. Yeah, cats can do it too. I've seen, some people's cats go to about like 20, 21 years. Like, that's incredible. That's a long time.
Wow.
But yeah, guys, what do you think? Couple 2.5 hours. You guys want to call it or?
Yeah. Any last call?
Yeah, my last call.
Oh, this was good, guys. This was nice.
Heck yeah, Mike. Appreciate having you on, buddy. And it's been a blast, man. I keep holding it down over there in the Netherlands. It sounds like you got some pretty good stuff. It's going on at least. I mean, it's just good to see people coming together. It feels like no matter how it's and that's what it's all about coming up. I think the people that are realizing it's kind of me against the world. I mean, that's the way it's being presented. And I think the more people get out, they realize, okay, there's maybe
I'm not alone. Wait, there's a whole bunch of us out there.
Yeah. And maybe even though you're labeled as this and I'm labeled as that, fuck all that, and we'll just go play some, soccer or something, or go fishing.
Play a game together.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're essentially already playing this game. Let's, beat the system by getting along with each other when we're supposed to be opponents in the game.
Make it an open sandbox, right? Create what you want instead of having to live inside of these boundaries because some people want to be the very top.
Yeah, the real blockchain is our blood, I feel like. I mean, like, I don't know. That's the title I want. I don't know. Pure blood. Fucking,
Yeah.
that's where I want to stay. I mean, I don't know. Yep.
Yeah.
Keep me on the original blockchain and, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Play better games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, right. It's got everything you need already, so.
That's it.
Yep. But
Nice.
guys, much love.
Provided for.
Right.
You just have to seize the opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Go running this way, I think. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I might not be smart. Fuck it, we'll run in the rain. I'll think of Todd. Todd likes running in the rain.
Yeah, do it. Unless it's too cold. If it's cold, it's actually not the best idea. But if it's still warm, go for it. Yeah.
Summer's slipping away here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the weather this year is beautiful, and I think we're due for rain and moisture and whatnot. Maybe some
Has
cold
it
weather.
started raining up there yet in Ohio?
No, we got overcast though, so it's probably gonna be up here, a couple hours.
Yeah, it's thick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, be careful. You hear the squirrel? Hear the baby?
No.
Oh, that's weird. The
Don't
mic doesn't pick up animal sounds.
I hear like a squeaking.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's funny.
Cute.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, hey, thanks very much, Mike. It's great to hear from you. Thanks for sharing your stuff. That was really...
Yeah, I appreciate it, Mike.
Yeah, it's definitely worth looking into more. Like, just talking about the whole history. I told you before, like, the whole history of 40K in any decent fashion takes about 3 hours to work through. So
Yeah.
it's just like it's just too much. But just the basics of it, and that whole chaos element tying into like what we do, creating reality as we go, pretty much. That is really fascinating to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's definitely not all bad stuff in chaos. That is like there's good things in chaos too, but that's maybe topic for another show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Raven card with the void and the chaos. I mean, that's essentially where the organization came from, you know. So stemmed from the pattern occurring within the chaos, which is pretty cool. It's like a blip. It's a blip in time, like a little fraction of a moment, you know, just this pattern appearing, this organization, this creator god, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just gets folded back up by the mystery of chaos. Oh, swallowed up by the void. All of the work just gone. Oh, man. I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel alright. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It is the way of things, and we don't control the weather. Supposedly some people do, but I highly doubt that, honestly. But I think it does its thing, and we have to deal with it. There's a movie, oh man, I forget what it's called, but it's basically about the weather and about gods that live on Earth and are able to petition the weather to do things, but it costs tremendously in that it takes your spirit life from you, and if you for instance influence the weather too much, you will basically be pulled into the ether and you can't participate here anymore because you know that's what you're doing. And they say, like, you know, humans can't control the weather, which isn't entirely true. I do know they do stuff like that, obviously, but we don't have that much control. And considering how big this place,
like, if you want to remain human, like, would you want it? You know,
concerning weather manipulation, I think there's a big price to pay for that in the end.
Yep, absolutely.
They're fucking with forces that way beyond their kin.
Yeah. They're just wasting our time. So
yeah,
knock it off.
Right.
But yeah, all right, cool. Well, hey, let's call it a day. Y'all have a great rest of your Sundays, and hope your weeks are productive, and we have some success on the way, it seems. Growth spirals. ravens.
Yeah, I'm ready.
DMT in the grass. So maybe that grass is good. Hey, maybe we'll convert all that grass into DMT, and then we can be like, oh yeah, great. Let's.
It was here the whole time. Yeah.
I mean,
Awesome.
it's already
All
in
right,
your
guys.
head. So.
Yeah,
Alright.
it is.
So yeah, we'll see you guys next time. We're not really sure when or where, but we'll let you know. And thanks for tuning in.
We got 24 next time, 23 in the books, and yeah, 23. I suppose that's a prime number there. It's pretty prime. Yep. The 24 is pretty Jupiter, so pretty measurement. We'll get into that.
Excellent.
Yeah, but Mike, yeah, man. Listeners, thank you. Todd, thanks for holding the board down, brother.
No problem. Apologies on the audio issues, everybody.
You're good. Here.
All right. That's it. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Cheers.